In the apocalyptic ice age, I stockpiled tens of billions worth of supplies. Hello again, dear adventurers of the multiverse. Thanks for joining us once more on this epic journey. Remember, this story is pure science fiction from our wild imagination. So don't go trying to summon dragons in your backyard. The rights of this amazing novel belong entirely to its original author. We are only the narrators. Do you want more adventures? Show some love to our YouTube channel with a subscription and a like. And if you want exclusive content, our Patreon is waiting for you with open arms. Chapter 76 The Cheyenne Gang in Building 26. Zhang Yi told Zhang Yi what happened just now. It was done by those workers at number 26 next door. There is a newly developed community nearby, so many workers are renting houses around. Zhang Yi was a little curious. Our community is also considered a mid to high end. Are they willing to spend so much money? Zhang Yi said, 10 people live in a room. How expensive do you think it can be? Zhang Yi let out a no and nodded. Then she showed a dignified expression. In that case, they are actually more dangerous than Chen's Hanghao. Zhang Yi nodded in agreement. Chen's Hanghao is just a social gangster. In the peaceful times in the past, ordinary people didn't dare to cause trouble, so they were afraid of him. But now everyone is in danger. If he didn't have a gun in his hand, he would have been beaten to death. But these workers are different. They do physical work every day. Their physical strength is much stronger than ordinary people, and their combat effectiveness is also more sturdy. And they are all acquaintances, and there are so many people, it is convenient for them to do whatever they want. Zhang Yi took a deep breath, and sighed. Fortunately, I killed that fat man playing blasting yesterday, otherwise I won't be able to sleep well at night. Zhang Yi asked, what shall we do after that? Should we take revenge on them? Zhang Yi raised his eyebrows. Of course I want revenge. But it's impossible for me to go there. It's too unwise to go to other people's territory. Just look at them, didn't I kill more than half of them? Zhang Yi said speechlessly, but you have a gun in your hand. Not even with a gun. Zhang Yi spoke confidently, even if I kill them all, but let me get a shovel, I feel that I have lost a lot. Zhang Yi rolled her eyes, you're really stubborn, too steady. But you don't go to find them, how can you take revenge? They don't look like people who are afraid of death, they all feel like desperados. After all, who would a normal person play blasting in a unit building? If you are not careful, you may bury yourself. Zhang Yi rubbed his chin, and already had an idea in his heart. It seems that if you want to live a stable life in the future, you must find some people to be cannon fodder. Zhang Yi thought for a while, took the phone over, and opened the owner group of 25. At this time, due to the explosion just now, the neighbors were all awakened by fright, and the pot exploded in the group. What happened to the noise just now? Was it an earthquake? Or was there a shell attack? The sound came from upstairs, could it be a meteorite falling? It's very possible. If it wasn't for the meteorite falling from the sky, how could there be such an abnormal temperature? Maybe humans will become extinct like dinosaurs. It's a mess inside, and there are people who say anything. Zhang Yi said, just now the group of workers from number 26 broke into our unit building, trying to kill people and rob supplies. I found out in time and drove them away. Zhang Meng, who lived on the 16th floor, has been killed. As for the sound, they used explosives. After hearing what Zhang Yi said, the neighbors immediately became nervous. What? I just took care of Chen's Hanghao? Why are those mudlegs next door coming again? They are ruthless. I heard that there are often several groups of people fighting at the construction site over there. How did the person at 26 get here? Zhang Yi said, they dug a tunnel in the snow from below and killed them along the first floor. Immediately, someone said nervously, collapse that tunnel quickly and lock the door. Zhang Yi said, it's useless, that kind of door will break if you smash it. Even if you block it, they can still climb in from the window on the 4th floor. The neighbors were terrified. This night, if Zhang Yi hadn't driven those people away, maybe they would have broken into his home and killed him. What can we do? How can we beat those coolies? Half of the people in our building are dead, and most of the rest are old and weak women and children. That's not true. More than half of the people who were able to work hard before died near Zhang Yi's house. At this time, someone said, fortunately, we have Zhang Yi. Zhang Yi, you are so powerful. You drove so many of them away by yourself. With you here, our safety is guaranteed. Zhang Yi, you are a hero. After being reminded by the previous few people, Others suddenly realized. Now Zhang Yi is the strongest fighting force in their building, and he still has a gun in his hand. Letting him deal with the workers in the next building is the best choice. Zhang Yi thought this scene was quite funny. Before, they scolded themselves in the group every day, saying that they were selfish and shameless. Most of the people died at the hands of Zhang Yi, and they hated Zhang Yi to the bone. As a result, Zhang Yi is now asked, and he is also called a hero. Are you really taking Zhang Yi for a fool? Zhang Yi twitched his lips and said, I spent a lot of weapons against them, and now it's hard to protect myself. Let's hope for luck. What a joke. Why should I protect you? What does it matter to me whether you are dead or not? After Zhang Yi said this, he stopped talking. The people in the group got excited and begged Zhang Yi to protect them. Zhang Yi, you can't just watch us die. If we are all dead, only the two of you will be left alive. Aren't you alone? We are all dead, and sooner or later you will become the target of public criticism. I don't know how many people are staring at you. Seeing these words, Zhang Yi's eyes were cold. That sentence is right, I don't know how many people are staring at him now. After all, the video Zhang Yi sent to the group must have been reposted by the neighbors. When outsiders see it, they will be jealous at most. But the people in the surrounding unit buildings have the opportunity to come to 25 and snatch everything from him. But he still didn't say anything. On the contrary, it was Uncle Yu who sent a private message to Zhang Yi, asking with concern if Zhang Yi needed help. I know those bastards at 26, and I had a drink with them before. Damn it, they actually came here to try to trick you, I won't let them go. Zhang Yi, if you have any ideas, let me know, and I will clean them up for you. Zhang Yi smiled. Uncle Yu, there are quite a lot of them, right? Uncle Yu said, well, there used to be more than 30 of them. But a dozen or so died recently, so there are about, or so left. I knew their boss, Wang Xianfang, and we were still chatting for a while. But these dogs lived in such a nasty way that they killed many people in number 26. Hey, I won't be with these bastards. Both Uncle Yu and those workers came from the countryside. But the workers are in this society, but Uncle Yu has been in the army for many years. Thoughts are not on one level at all. Chapter 77 Zhang Yi, I will kill your neighbor if you don't come out. According to Uncle Yu's introduction, Zhang Yi had a little understanding of those people. Those workers were working under the name of an engineering company called Cheyenne Group. Non-regular workers, but the contractor took over the work, and they followed the contractor. But they boast to the outside world that they are employees of Cheyenne Group, which is more face-saving. So now their group calls themselves the Cheyenne Gang, and the gang leader is that skinny short man Wang Xianfang. Zhang Yi, do you have any plans for them? If you need my help, just say hello. Uncle Yu said. Zhang Yi smiled lightly. It is impossible for him to attack the so-called Cheyenne Gang. His greatest reliance is this steel fortress. Once you leave the room, you have to face that little number 20 person. Even if you have a gun in your hand, it is very dangerous. Uncle Yu, it's better to be on the safe side. I have no revenge plan for the time being. It's mainly me alone, even if you are added, there is no certainty of victory. Unless, his eyes flashed, we can mobilize all the neighbors in the building. Uncle Yu understood what Zhang Yi meant. You mean to say, like Wang Xianfang and his gang, we all unite together and make a concerted effort to speak out? Well, that's what it means. Uncle Yu said, okay, then I will raise this idea in the group. Let's see how many of them are willing. Zhang Yi said with a smile, Uncle Yu, there's no need to do this. You rushed to let them join the group, but instead they thought you were harboring evil intentions, and even pushed your nose in the face. Uncle Yu asked, then what should we do? Zhang Yi laughed and said, aren't we in a hurry? There are enough supplies at home, just wait. The group of people from the Cheyenne Gang came here for the first time, and there will definitely be a second time after that. Not to mention, they will definitely come back for revenge after I killed so many people. At that time, the neighbors in this building will naturally come to beg us. Uncle Yu couldn't help but sigh, Zhang Yi, you are so clever. The two hit it off and reached an agreement, deciding to temporarily ignore the members of the Cheyenne Gang. In the owner group, the neighbors wanted Zhang Yi and Uncle Yu to take the lead in cleaning up the Cheyenne Gang. They are very familiar with moral kidnapping. While praising Zhang Yi and Uncle Yu, saying they are good people, but Zhang Yi thinks this is a curse, you are a good person, and your whole family is a good person. At the same time, I made various excuses, saying that I had no food and no strength to fight. or use the excuse of being an old man or a woman and refuse to come forward. Zhang Yi knew this group of shameless neighbors too well, so he just ignored them. Anyway, after the knife hit them, they naturally knew the pain. In the next 2 days, Zhang Yi began to obtain information from the outside world. Of course he wouldn't ask by himself, because there are too many people who are worried about his family's supplies, and the information given to him is likely to be false. He asked Jokir and Uncle Yu to help inquire. One of the two is a doctor and the other is a guard, and they have a wide network of contacts. Zhang Yi wants to know who is a threat to him in the 30 buildings in their Yulu community. It is not difficult to inquire about this information, who has killed more people and who is the most powerful now, just ask. Jokir actively took out a pen and paper, and helped Zhang Yi make a statistical table. Zhang Yi took it over and took a look. It gave a general description of the number of forces and weapons of the opponent. After reading it, his heart felt a lot more at ease. After all, Yulu community is positioned as a mid to high end, and there are not so many vicious people in it. According to the information obtained by Jokir and Uncle Yu, the two forces that are more difficult are mainly. One is the Cheyenne gang at 26 next door. They are formed with a small engineering team under the Cheyenne group as the core, and their combat effectiveness is sturdy. The only weapons are shovels and steel bars, and there are no guns in hand. The bomb used to deal with Zhang Yi last time was made by a worker in their company who knows how to blast, and its power is limited. And the worker had already been burned to death by Zhang Yi, so there was no way to continue making oil bombs afterwards. However, no one knows whether they still have stock in hand. Be careful. Find an opportunity to send some cannon fodder to consume their reserves. Zhang Yi said to himself. Besides the Cheyenne gang, there was another faction that caught his attention. Building 21, there is a group of young people who call themselves Crazy Wolf Gang. The name sounds extremely secondary, but the combat power is not weak. According to the information that Jokir inquired, among these people were students and some idlers. The general age is around 20 years old, and there are more than a dozen people in the team. The two leaders are Wang Qiang and Xiao Lu. Zhang Yi knew both of them. The two of them are well-known street sneakers in Yulu community. After graduating from a third-rate university, he gnawed at the old man at home. He could not be regarded as the rich second generation, but he also belonged to the middle class. Because he refused to go out to work, he stayed at home all the time. After a long time, I hooked up with some people in the society. In the past, they couldn't even match one of Chen's Hanghao's toes. But there are no ruthless people like Zhang Yi in their building, so let them grow bigger. For Zhang Yi, only these two forces can pose a certain threat to him. In other unit buildings, some even have only a dozen households left. Many people couldn't bear the horror of the doomsday, their mentality collapsed and they chose to commit suicide. Or they would kill each other in a situation of extreme shortage of supplies and die cleanly. Zhang Yi felt confident in his heart. He said to Jokir, continue to collect information, we must figure it out, and minimize the danger. Especially whether they have guns, this is very important. Jokir nodded docilely, then picked up the phone and continued to inquire about news. In the following days, Zhang Yi and Uncle Yu reached a consensus that they would stay at home and never go out. Those members of the Cheyenne gang hated Zhang Yi because of the loss they had suffered last time. 8 of their brothers died for many years, and the rest were also burned by the fire and seriously injured. 2 people died of their injuries after returning that night. The members of the Cheyenne gang have never suffered this kind of loss. They swore that they would bloodbath 25 and kill Zhang Yi to avenge their brothers. However, a turning point came. The person they hate the most is Zhang Yi. And the person they fear the most is also Zhang Yi. After seeing Zhang Yi's methods and feeling that Zhang Yi's family is easy to defend and difficult to attack, they dare not take action against Zhang Yi for the time being. Then what should we do? Then I have to take the neighbors in Zhang Yi's apartment building. Wang Xianfang's thought was, Zhang Yi, if I can't kill you, can't I kill your neighbor? Don't you feel guilty when you see your neighbors die tragically? How do you face their accusations? Killing your neighbor is the greatest revenge for you. Wang Bian was rather IQ-spirited, knowing that persimmons had to be picked softly. So in the next few days, he brought a group of people back and raided several families. After killing people, right in the corridor with blood. Zhang Yi, if you don't come out, I'll kill all your neighbors. Chapter 78 The Neighbors Seek Protection. Wang Xianfang thought he was smart, so he killed many people at 25 in order to force Zhang Yi out. If this was the protagonist of the Virgin Mary in the movie, he would definitely be unable to bear it right now, and must stand up and negotiate with Wang Xianfang. But unfortunately, instead of feeling remorse, Zhang Yi was happy. His purpose was to make Wang Xianfang kill a few more neighbors and cause panic. These neighbors had to beg him to help. Sure enough, after just 2 days, the neighbors couldn't take it anymore. They saw the bloody words left by Wang Xianfang before leaving, and agreed that only Zhang Yi went out to face Wang Xianfang could solve the current problem. As a result, all kinds of indiscriminate bombardment of Zhang Yi in the group, private messages and voice calls are also in an endless stream. Zhang Yi opened the group chat and glanced at the reactions of the neighbors. Zhang Yi, you have to solve the trouble you caused. You attracted and killed those Xian gang members, so what does it have to do with us? Right. One person does things and one person is responsible. You can't let us help you bear this kind of price, can you? They said, if you don't come out for a day, they won't stop killing people. Zhang Yi, if you have a conscience, you can solve this matter yourself. Do you really have the heart to watch everyone die because of you? Zhang Yi smiled when he saw the messages from these people. He wasn't too angry, because he knew the urine of these neighbors very well. He casually sent a few messages in the group. I didn't ask them to come. Why? They came to kill me, but I killed them back, and finally became mine, didn't they? You don't have the ability to resist them yourself, it's none of my business. You guys also said that those people are too dangerous. If that's the case, I won't go out anymore, my house is still safe. Hee. After speaking, Zhang Yi also sent an emoji of a smiling face. This pissed off the neighbors in the building. Zhang Yi, you are safe, what do you want us to do? Didn't you kill us all? The people you recruited, why let us face it for you? Do you still have a conscience like this? Facing the accusations from his neighbors, Zhang Yi laughed out loud. Zhang Yi still knows how shameless they are. He sneered and mocked, I don't care what you do. Does your death have anything to do with me? Don't talk about your conscience with me. When you attacked my house, which one of you didn't have a share? That is to say, I am generous. I didn't come to the door with a gun, and I killed you all one by one. You are screaming, and you are worthy of talking to me about your conscience? He said in a gloomy tone, do you really think that I dare not kill you? Zhang Yi's last sentence uttered, blocking the words from many people's throats. They just remembered that Zhang Yi is not easy to mess with. How did Chen Zhanghao die? It was frozen into ice cubes and smashed to pieces. This is what Zhang Yi did. Zhang Yi stopped talking, but sent a message to Uncle Yu. Uncle Yu, it's time for you to show off. Uncle Yu said, don't worry, take care of me. In the owner group, those owners were overwhelmed by Zhang Yi's scolding. The moral kidnapping failed and the negotiation broke down, which meant that they would still have to face the Xian gang, who would rush in and kill them at some point. Most of the men in number 25 were killed or injured. And only Zhang Yi and Uncle Yu can see the remaining combat power. What should we do? We thought that if Chen Zhanghao died, we would be able to survive. But those people from the Xian gang are even more cruel. Chen Zhanghao killed people for the sake of gaining prestige and rations. But Wang Xianfang and the others killed for revenge. They killed anyone they saw. They didn't think about it that much at all. Does it mean that we really have to wait to die? Damn it, why did the world become what it is now? Is a barbaric society the norm in the future? The snow disaster will not pass in a short time, and we will all be buried in this snow disaster. Many fell into deep despair, thinking that they would not have more than a few days to live. And at this time, Uncle Yu, who is usually quiet and reticent, suddenly appeared. Everyone, don't panic, there are only about 20 people in the Xian gang. We are united and can fight against them. The appearance of Uncle Yu brought light to the eyes of many people. After all, this veteran doorman usually feels simple and reliable with others. Uncle Yu, it's a good thing you're here. You haven't spoken recently, I thought you were dead too. Great, Uncle Yu is here, everyone's safety is guaranteed. Uncle Yu, tell me what you want to do. Everyone will support you. When Uncle Yu saw what the neighbors said, his eyelids couldn't help shaking. Fully support me? That means you still want me to go up, you guys watch the fun behind? He was speechless. Uncle Yu said, hey, it's useless to rely on me alone. Our family's supplies are also exhausted. We haven't eaten for several days, and now we are hungry and have no strength. The big guy should be in the same situation as me. In this state, why should we compete with the Xian gang? Some of the neighbors were silent. For some neighbors, the quality of their recent food is actually not bad, and all they eat is barbecue. Once your mind is numb, that stuff actually tastes pretty good. Uncle Yu, what should we do then? Everyone is short of food, so there is no way to help you. Just now I said that I will fully support it, but now I am reluctant to show it even if I stutter. If you have any suggestions, please mention them. Everyone listens to you. Here are the nice things to say again. Uncle Yu said, our building is going to fight against other buildings now, we can only rely on Zhang Yi. Zhang Yi has a lot of weapons in his house, and he has enough to eat every day, and he has strength. Letting him lead us is the most suitable choice. Everyone stared wide-eyed, quite speechless. They just drove Zhang Yi away in anger, and now they want Zhang Yi to lead them. Is there any play? However, Zhang Yi just said to let us fend for ourselves. He won't leave that house, and we can't call him. However, it would be the best if he could come and lead us. They felt that although Zhang Yi was hateful, he was indeed very powerful. Half of the people in the unit building died at his hands. So what about the vicious thug Chen's Heng Hao? Wasn't it smashed into Wang crushed ice by Zhang Yi? Uncle Yu said, well, Zhang Yi and I can still have a few words. I'll go talk to him and see if I can persuade him to come out of the mountain. Everyone quickly said, Uncle Yu, it's all up to you. Chapter 79. Zhang Yi saw all the conversations in the group. Uncle Yu turned around and sent Zhang Yi a private message. Zhang Yi, what should we do now? Zhang Yi said, it's almost time for fire, you can help me when the time comes, and let this group of people listen to me honestly. Show kindness and strength, let them be obedient, and our building will be safe in the future. Zhang Yi didn't know if they were safe or not, but Zhang Yi would definitely become safer anyway. And among these neighbors, many people will be sent to the front line by Zhang Yi as cannon fodder. Most of them have family members who were killed by Zhang Yi, and they will definitely take revenge if they have the chance in the future. So it's best to kill them now. After Uncle Yu and Zhang Yi finished their discussion, they returned to the group of owners. Uncle Yu pretended to look at Zhang Yi. Everyone needs you very much now. If you are the only one left in this building, you will be lonely, right? So now please show kindness and help everyone. Everyone will thank you from the bottom of their hearts. The neighbors also hurriedly spoke. Yes, as long as you can save us, everyone will be grateful to you. From now on, we will leave it to you to decide. Zhang Yi, the lives of our family are in your hands. Nice words that are worthless come pouring in. Zhang Yi sneered. I came here to chat with you for Uncle Yu's sake. But I don't bother to care about you at all. I am living a good life. Why do I care about you? I still have to go out and work hard, risking my life. I don't think it's worth it. The more Zhang Yi said that, the more uncertain the neighbors felt. Zhang Yi, don't. Big deal, we will do whatever you ask us to do in the future, okay? Even if they are in a desperate situation, they will not want to die if they have a glimmer of hope to live. Zhang Yi sneered and asked, oh? Really? You can do whatever I ask you to do? All of you agree? The neighbors hesitated for a while. Someone said, as long as you don't let us die, other conditions are fine. Zhang Yi asked back, I asked you to take up your weapons and fight the Cheyenne gang to your death, will you go? The group suddenly became quiet. No one speaks, they are all waiting for others to be the first bird. Zhang Yi laughed loudly, you want me to work hard, right? Well, then I don't care about you. When Wang Xianfang brings people to kill him, just stretch out your necks and let them chop it off. Goodbye. Uncle Yu was in a hurry. Zhang Yi, don't. We big guys must listen to you. Anyway, I'm going to die. If you fight hard, you still have a chance to survive. I'll do it with you. With that said, he started to mobilize the big guys again. Why are you still hesitating? We all have a way to survive if we work hard together. Do we have to wait for someone to call their names and kill them one by one? Uncle Yu's encouragement really worked. Thinking that there is still a way to survive, everyone opened their mouths and agreed to follow Zhang Yi's order. Zhang Yi and Uncle Yu sang together, and thus gained control of the entire building. He said lightly, well, from now on, everything has to be obeyed by me. The situation is serious, and the enemy may attack at any time. Any passive and slack behavior is regarded as a betrayal of the owner of the entire building. When the time comes, don't blame me for killing that person directly. Zhang Yi scanned the list of group members. Don't let me find out that there are those who hide quietly and refuse to come out to fight. If you find one, kill it immediately. If you want to get up and pick the fruit, there is no way. Zhang Yi said this because he did a rough calculation and found that there were only about 20 people talking in the group. Obviously, some people didn't open their mouths. They planned to get up and become ostriches, and let Zhang Yi lead people to fight hard. When Zhang Yi said this, the neighbors who agreed to meet the enemy with Zhang Yi were also unhappy. Fang Lin, come out. I know you're not dead. I saw you digging snow yesterday. Liang Yulu, where are you? Don't hide, and don't pretend you didn't see the group news. We will find you when the time comes. The neighbors were red-eyed, and 8 came out with those ostriches. People are selfish, they are determined to risk their lives, and of course they don't want to see other people pretending to hide their grandchildren behind their backs. As a last resort, those people also popped up. I just fell asleep and saw the message. Hey, what's going on? Are you going to fight back? That's great. I'm not afraid of death, I just didn't see it. A group of people said guiltily. Zhang Yi didn't care about that. In short, since everyone has elected me as the building manager, they must obey my orders. Anyone who dares to stay behind is a betrayal of all the owners and deserves to die. The owners didn't dare to speak anymore. They knew that Zhang Yi would really kill them. The more than 50 dead souls are the bloody evidence. After waving the big stick, Zhang Yi thought for a moment and prepared to give them a carrot. Don't worry, I, Zhang Yi, am a kind person, and I can't bear to watch you starve. As long as you are obedient, I will go out and help you find supplies. Zhang Yi had made plans for this matter a while ago. Since some engineering teams will use blasting technology, it is difficult to guarantee that more powerful enemies will not appear in the future. He lives on the 24th floor. Although the whole house is made of metal, if the downstairs collapses, it will have a great impact on his house. That's why he wanted to raise a group of cannon fodder to live below, guard him, and send him to death if necessary. To support them, there must be no supplies. Zhang Yi was reluctant to give them the supplies in his own space, so he needed to go out to find them. Moreover, his weapons and ammunition are consumed relatively quickly. He had fired 20 rounds of ammunition in the first battle a few days ago, and he also needed to consider going out to find more weapons and equipment. As for how to travel, the problem is very simple. The snow outside was more than 10 meters thick, and the vehicle became a waste. However, there is a special vehicle for driving in snow, snowmobiles. There are 5 in Zhang Yi's space, 2 are snowmobiles with a cockpit, and 3 small snowmobiles. In this era of heavy snow blocking the city, it would take a lot of effort for other people to leave their homes. But he can freely shuttle throughout the city. In the owner group, the pot was blown up at this time. Zhang Yi, can you go out and find supplies? There's so much snow, and there's no way to drive. Do you want to walk out through the snow? Then, won't you freeze to death? Zhang Yi said, no matter how bad the outside environment is, for everyone's sake, I have to go out and give it a try. Don't worry. I've worked in storage for many years. I know where there are warehouses in Xianhe City, and where there are large shopping malls and supermarkets. Finding supplies was not difficult for me. Chapter 80 Snowmobile. The neighbors seem to have met a savior. Even some people who are ashamed of death and are already wrapped in quilts at home waiting to die, their eyes are shining brightly at this time. Zhang Yi, can you really go out and find supplies? If that's the case, we'll be able to survive. Although the city is closed by a blizzard, so many materials produced by our society in the past few decades are actually enough for us to survive. Zhang Yi, I'm really so moved. We treated you that way back then, and you still. Some choked up. Originally, almost everyone in their family died at the hands of Zhang Yi. But now their hatred towards Zhang Yi seems to have disappeared all of a sudden, leaving only gratitude in their hearts. Zhang Yi said deeply, since I have become the building manager, I will be responsible to everyone. And my family's supplies are also running out. Going out to find supplies is the only way for us to survive. When Zhang Yi said this, everyone felt more at ease in their hearts. In the last days, if you say you are a good person and good deed, others will always think you are hypocritical in retrospect. But if you also have interests and needs, everyone will think that is normal. After all, it has been almost a month since the end of the world. Many people died of starvation in the neighbors' homes. So they believed that no matter how many supplies Zhang Yi had hoarded at home, there would be a day when they would run out. What's more, there are 2 people in their family now, and the supplies are consumed faster. The neighbors were grateful to Zhang Yi and praised him like a god in their words. So much so that Zhang Yi smiled and said, "If you form a sect at this time, you can be the patriarch." In times of disaster, religion develops fastest. Because people always need a spiritual sustenance. Zhang Yi smiled faintly. "There's no need to make it so complicated with a group of cannon fodder. I just need to use a piece of moldy steamed bun, and they can make them treat me more kindly than their own father." Zhang Yi asked curiously, "But, do you really want to go out?" There was a hint of worry and guilt in her eyes. Zhang Yi understood that she really thought that Zhang Yi's supplies were running out, and felt that she was dragging Zhang Yi down. Zhang Yi pinched her pink face, squinted his eyes and said with a smile, "Don't worry, the supplies at home are enough to support you. I'm just looking for a suitable opportunity to go out and have a look at the situation outside." If it was normal, Zhang Yi would not dare to go out, for fear of being attacked by crazy neighbors. But now, he has become everyone's hope of survival, so naturally they will not come to attack him. Zhang Yi nodded, "Then I'll go with you." She knew that Zhang Yi did not fully trust her, so she offered to go with Zhang Yi. Zhang Yi looked at her with deep eyes, and shook his head slowly but firmly. "We have such a relationship now, do you think I will still doubt you? Women should stay at home and wait for your man to come back." Zhang Yi stood up slowly. There was a look of emotion in Zhang Yi's eyes. But this feeling didn't last long. Because Zhang Yi quickly put all the food and coal left in the house into the space. "I trust you 100%. Zhang Yi said with a smile. "Zhang Yi." She looked speechless, and she was touched by Zhang Yi just now, but she didn't expect him to restore his original expression immediately. Zhang Yi ignored Zhang Yi's sad expression, and went back to his room to change his clothes. This was the first time he chose to leave the unit building after the end of the world. The city was sealed off by heavy snow, and no living things could be seen outside, so the risk factor was not that high. But out of caution, Zhang Yi still put on a calfskin jacket. This thing, even if it is stabbed with a knife, it can't be pierced without enough strength. After careful consideration, he found 2 pans in a different space, and placed one on the front and back of his body. In this way, even if you encounter an opponent with a gun, ordinary pistols can't hurt his vitals. Finally, he put on his winter clothes. At this time, the figure is already very bloated, but the sense of security is full. Zhang Yi took out a crowbar more than 1 meter long and tried it in his hand. In a real fight, this kind of heavy crowbar is actually more useful than a machete. The wounds cut by the knife will not make people lose their fighting power immediately, but if the body is hit like this, it will immediately fall down. Zhang Yi took the crowbar, filled the pistol with magazines, and put it in his pocket. After fully armed, he left the house. The temperature outside is very cold. Even wearing the same professional sportswear of the national mountaineering team, you can still feel a bit of coldness. It's just that this kind of cold will not affect Zhang Yi. After going out for some exercise, his body will heat up. Holding the crowbar in both hands, he walked down the stairs without haste. Before leaving, he will first observe the surrounding situation. Be careful. Nothing happened along the way. After all, there are still very few people who are overwhelmed. Zhang Yi came to the 4th floor. Due to the actions of the Cheyenne gang and others, the residents here have basically moved to the upper floors, and no one lives below the 10th floor. Zhang Yi pushed the door open and entered. The inside was in a mess. The windows had already been smashed, and even the weak anti-theft window was open with a big hole. The wind invaded the building through this big hole, whistling. Zhang Yi carefully climbed out along the hole. Both feet landed on the ground, and the ice and snow directly reached the knees. However, due to the increasing amount of snow, the ground below has been tamped down a bit, and it didn't let his whole body sink in. But walking on this kind of snow is also more difficult. Zhang Yi raised his head and looked around. The huge Yulu community was dead silent, and there was nothing but the sound of wind in the air. He didn't see the prying eyes of others. Zhang Yi took out the snowmobile from the different space, and before arriving, it was already full of gas. The driving of this kind of car is not complicated. Zhang Yi thought about it a little bit, and after reading the instruction manual, he knew how to operate it. He turned over and got into the car, turned the key, and then there was a roar of the engine. Zhang Yi drove the snowmobile all the way towards the outside of the community. When leaving the community, Zhang Yi seemed to feel that some people were looking at him through the window. This is not unexpected. After all, there are no traces of humans outside now, and the sound of this motorcycle is very harsh. It looks like someone will be greedy for me because of this snowmobile in the future. A sneer appeared on the corner of Zhang Yi's mouth. He's not afraid to expose the snowmobile's presence. There are too many people who want to play him. Not to mention now, it is not surprising to kill someone for a cookie. In Zhang Yi's own words, it means that there are too many debts. The heavy snow flooded many small houses, and the streets were even invisible. But after living here for more than 20 years, Zhang Yi can roughly figure out the direction through those high-rise landmark buildings. So for him, there is no problem of getting lost. Chapter 81: The Arsenal of the Police Station. The dead Xianhe City. The vast expanse of white snow covered everything. Looking from a high altitude, only the shadows of some high-rise buildings could be seen, and the rest was all white snow. Zhang Yi rode on a snowmobile and galloped quickly on the snow. I have been self-isolating at home for almost a month, and this is the first time I have come out for racing. The wind is blowing past my ears, that feeling is not to mention how cool it is. Zhang Yi couldn't help howling AWW a few times. The movement of this motorcycle is particularly eye-catching. Zhang Yi drove all the way, and saw figures flashing behind the glass of some high-rise buildings. Even in the last days, there will always be some tenacious creatures like human beings who will survive. Like locusts. This extremely cold mode is like spraying pesticides, but after this disaster, the surviving humans will slowly adapt. Zhang Yi touched the gun in his pocket, feeling a sense of security in his heart. Every person alive in this city could become a potential threat. In the last days, don't believe in human nature. Zhang Yi's first stop is not the supermarket around him. He rode his bicycle and headed straight for the Xianhe City Public Security Bureau. Because there must be a stockpile of weapons there. Zhang Yi kept that sentence in mind: all fears come from insufficient firepower. So weapons, especially thermal weapons, are definitely better. After driving all the way for more than half an hour, Zhang Yi came to the location of Xianhe City Public Security Bureau. At this time, most of the place was submerged. Originally a 6-story building, the lower 3 floors were completely invisible. Fortunately, the Public Security Bureau is an independent building, and the height of a single floor is higher than that of a private house. Otherwise, if Zhang Yi came more than 10 days later, there would be nothing left here. Zhang Yi parked the motorcycle in front of the window on the 4th floor. He got out of the car, pulled out the key, took the crowbar and smashed it. Crash! The tempered glass shattered all over the place. Zhang Yi took out a gun from his pocket and entered the building. It was dark inside, but this was not a problem for Zhang Yi. He took out a miner's lamp directly from the different space. This is used by workers who dig underground. It is small in size but extremely bright. After turning on the light, it was like a little sun, illuminating the surroundings very brightly. Zhang Yi didn't understand the internal structure of the police station, so he had to search house by house. When he came to the 2nd floor covered by ice and snow, when he pried open a locked room, he was slightly moved by the scene inside. In the corner of the room, 7 or 8 police officers huddled together. Wrapped in thin blankets, their bodies have become whiter than snow. Zhang Yi took a deep breath, feeling somewhat sad in his heart. They are all police officers on night shift at night. When a snowstorm is approaching, they don't even have clothes to keep out the cold. Judging from their appearance before they died, they should have been frozen to death. Zhang Yi wanted to bury them. But after thinking about it for a while, I felt that it might be a kind of fulfillment to be buried in this place where they have dedicated their hard work for many years in the ice and snow outside. He bowed his head and observed a moment of silence for those who had protected the city. He then bypassed the bodies and continued his search. There are a lot of debris in the police station, so searching is a waste of time. When Zhang Yi was tired, he took out a piece of pure cocoa butter chocolate from the space, and after a big bite, he replenished his strength and continued to move. It took almost 2 hours before Zhang Yi found the gun storage, but it was locked outside. Zhang Yi didn't pry it open for a long time, so he had to slap his forehead and go back to find the key. Fortunately, he knew that this thing must be in the duty room, and it was not difficult to find. After Zhang Yi got the key, he opened the door smoothly. Opening the gun magazine opened Zhang Yi's horizons. There are many firearms in it, including pistols and rifles, dozens of them in total. Zhang Yi even found a big sniper. But it was the first time he saw these things, and he couldn't name them or use them. Zhang Yi didn't care so much, he put it away in one brain, and he can study it slowly when he goes back. Especially the sniper rifle, this thing is simply a top-notch item. In the future, it will be too cool to use a wretched yin man. Even if the marksmanship is not so accurate, At least it is possible to scare people. Zhang Yi feels that he is quite talented in shooting guns. He can be regarded as a half-professional player, especially in the use of pistols. After rebirth, perhaps because his mind became firmer, his marksmanship became more decisive. When they fought against a group of Xian gang before, almost none of the bullets missed. I'm a genius with a gun. Zhang Yi smiled triumphantly, which seemed to be a kind of self-teasing. Later, he found more than 1,000 rounds of ammunition in the gun depot. There are also old-fashioned guns that have been confiscated. I don't know how many years they have been stored, so it's hard to say whether they can be fired. Zhang Yi didn't dislike it either, and put everything away. When he came out this time, Zhang Yi made a lot of money. In addition to guns and ammunition, Zhang Yi also found more than a dozen pieces of body armor and a complete set of explosion-proof equipment. Things like riot helmets, blast shields, and batons. These things are enough for me to form a team with good combat effectiveness in the future. Zhang Yi couldn't be happier. He took all these things. Just finding these, he didn't come out in vain today. In the police station, Zhang Yi got a bumper harvest. This also made him confirm one thing: there are still a lot of supplies outside. After all, it snowed heavily in the middle of the night on December 12th. When people woke up the next day, the snow in front of the door was more than 1 meter thick, and the temperature reached tens of degrees below zero. Therefore, at that time, most people did not realize that the end of the world was coming, nor did they start buying supplies frantically. By the time they realized something was wrong, it was too late to go out. Zhang Yi found what he wanted and left the police station. A thick layer of snow has fallen on the motorcycle outside. Only then did Zhang Yi realize that he had been out for a long time. Time to get them some pig food. Thinking of those bastard neighbors, Zhang Yi said lightly. He turned around and found a supermarket that hadn't been completely buried. Then drilled in from above by means of a broken window. As a result, when I went inside, I found that the supermarket was basically empty. And the shelves were as clean as they had just been bought. There were some frozen rotten vegetable leaves on the ground. Zhang Yi stroked his chin and said, "This place is relatively close to the residential area, and it's a convenient supermarket. So it's not surprising that everything was robbed. However, no one will go to those big shopping malls in the urban and suburban areas. Many new large-scale shopping malls are generally not too close to residential areas, because the cost of land acquisition is too high." Zhang Yi himself works in warehousing. Of course, he knows which large shopping mall in Xianhe City is far away from the crowd. So he got on his snowmobile and drove towards the economic development zone. A Wanda Mall was just built there 2 years ago, and the nearest residential buildings are 3 kilometers away, so the probability of being vacated is relatively low. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 82: Meals for the Neighbors. Zhang Yi came to this Wanda Mall in the economic development zone. After arriving, only one roof can be seen. He did the same, broke the glass above, and used a climbing rope to pull himself in. After entering the mall, traces of the once bustling scene remained. In the ring-shaped shopping mall, exquisite goods are displayed in each store. Expensive clothing, shoes and various daily necessities are not worth a penny at this time, and can be taken away casually. Zhang Yi selected some useful stores, and directly stuffed all the items in the entire store into his own space. The supermarket is on the basement level. After he casually collected the supplies, he walked to the negative floor. Sure enough, as he expected, this place is still full of goods because it is far away from human habitation. But the quality is really hard to describe. Part of the shopping mall was crushed by the blizzard, and cold air entered it, so the shelves inside were covered with frost. The cold air ruined the food here. Some puffed food and biscuits even had a layer of ice. Especially the vegetable area, although it is not rotten and smelly, but it is also seriously dehydrated, and I am afraid that it will not have any taste in the mouth. The meat area is relatively good, all frozen into ice lumps. It is authentic zombie meat. As for the fish tank, it will burst after freezing, so don't count on eating fish. In short, in normal times, the food here would probably only be thrown away as garbage. Either send it to a food factory through a relationship and process it into a prefabricated dish. Zhang Yi shrugged. I won't eat these things for nothing. He didn't even bother to put them into his own different space. Anyway, he doesn't lack supplies, so why would he want these low-grade goods? However, these are not important. No matter how poor the quality of these foods, for those neighbors who haven't eaten normal food for a long time, they are the best in the world. Zhang Yi took out 2 large luggage bags from the space, and randomly threw some rotten vegetable leaves and zombie meat into them. They stuffed some bread and biscuits that had swollen due to damp. The 2 bags were filled in no time. Zhang Yi doesn't plan to move other things, so just throw them here first. Maybe it can save other people's lives in the future. Anyway, he doesn't need to take it away. After finishing all this, Zhang Yi glanced at the Rolex on his wrist. This is a famous watch that has been treated for cold protection, and it can still operate in extremely low temperature conditions. Maybe the time is not accurate, but at least I can get a rough idea. The time displayed by the Rolex is 3:30 p.m. It will take about an hour to return to Yulu community from here. Zhang Yi didn't waste any time. Anyway, he still has a chance to come out again in the future, and no one can compete with him, so I will save other places and explore slowly later. Zhang Yi left the supermarket with the looted supplies, and began to drive back on a snowmobile. By the time he returned to Yulu community, the sky was already dark. Boom. The sound of the engine is particularly noticeable in the quiet neighborhood. As soon as he came back, faces appeared on the windows of every building, staring at him. 26, a room on the 15th floor. Wang Xianfang, the boss of the Xian gang, squinted his eyes, staring at the brand new snowmobile. Half of his face was burned, making him look even more ferocious. That night, although a few of them managed to escape back, but half of his face was also licked by the tongue of fire, and he became what he is now. There is such a thing that can run in the snow. Such a good thing. If we can use it, we can go out to find food in the future. Why do we need to eat those sour meat? A black and fat man beside him took a look and said, "Second uncle, I know this. In our area, this thing is called a sledge. This is an electric sledge." Wang Xianfang fixed his eyes on Zhang Yi's snowmobile, and said in a deep voice, "No matter what it is, we have to find a way to get it for him." Wang Xianfang wasn't the only one who thought this way. Everyone who stared at Zhang Yi thought so. After more than half a month of isolation, many of them have gone crazy, and it is only a matter of time before the rest of them go crazy and die. They need to get out of here and find food and space to survive. The heavy snow that had originally filled the sky hindered them. But Zhang Yi's snowmobile rekindled their hope. Zhang Yi can feel how much greed and naked killing intent are contained in so many eyes. But he touched the pistol on his waist, and thought of the large amount of weapons and equipment he found today. He felt very relieved. After getting off the motorcycle, Zhang Yi raised his head and found that the neighbors at 25 were also looking at him excitedly. These neighbors stared fixedly at the 2 luggage bags brought back by Zhang Yi. The corner of Zhang Yi's mouth twitched, and he pretended to drive the snowmobile to the underground garage behind. Bypassing everyone's perspective, he put the snowmobile into the space. Then left with 2 luggage bags. There are a lot of things, so his footprints are also very deep. This can make the neighbors of 25 very excited, even lying on the window and screaming. Wang Xianfang and the others next door also watched with their eyes shining. "Second uncle, could it be food?" Fatty Hay pointed at Zhang Yi excitedly and asked. Wang Xianfang scolded, "Nonsense. If you go out at this time to find food, could it be possible to find a woman?" A group of Xian help workers around heard the words, swallowed their saliva one after another, and surrounded them. "Anything to eat? Did he find food from outside? Great, there is food outside, we are saved. What else to say, go fuck him. Take everything, and his car." A group of people roared with red eyes. Wang Xianfang pondered for a moment, then said coldly, "Don't worry. This kid should be Zhang Yi who killed Chen Zhenghao. This kid is vicious. Last time we killed so many brothers, we have to be careful. Besides, I heard that he has a gun in his hand. Even if we want to do it, we have to do it quietly." Wang Xianfang was very cautious. Although the 2 buildings are next to each other, there is a distance of tens of meters between them. Across the thick ice and snow, running over is like a living target. So although they were greedy for the supplies that Zhang Yi brought back, they did not act rashly. However, if there are calm people, there will naturally be impulsive people. The workers behind were not satisfied with Wang Xianfang's arrangement. Several people discussed it, and thought that if they didn't take advantage of this time to do something, They would have no chance when Zhang Yi returned to the house. So a few people sneaked downstairs with knives and wrenches. Zhang Yi carried supplies into the corridor through the window. Then took out his mobile phone and told Uncle Yu that he was back, and asked him to come and meet him. In fact, he didn't need to talk. Uncle Yu also heard the movement of the snowmobile. Uncle Yu hastily rushed over to meet Zhang Yi. Zhang Yi, you actually found so many things. Looking at the two large luggage bags Zhang Yi was carrying, Uncle Yu's eyes were full of surprise and admiration. It was snowing heavily outside, and if someone else went out, they might not even be able to find the way. For professional things, you really have to let professional people do it. Chapter 83 Kill Me. Zhang Yi said lightly, it's really hard to find supplies outside. As soon as I went out, I ran all the nearby supermarkets and shopping malls that I remembered. As a result, the surrounding shopping malls have been robbed long ago, and there is nothing left. But I didn't give up. I know everyone is waiting for me. In order to feed everyone, even if I search the entire Xianhe city, I must find something to eat and bring it back to everyone. As a last resort, I had to wander around the city, and managed to get this little thing in a shopping mall. Zhang Yi handed the two bags to Uncle Yu, went back to open the door for Jokir, and led Jokir all the way down. Then he sent a message in the group, calling the neighbors to come and get food. After a while, those neighbors flocked to him. The stairs were full of people standing on each floor. These thin, hungry neighbors stared at the luggage bag in front of Zhang Yi with expectant and greedy eyes. Some people are just around the corner, and even planned to grab it. But when they saw clearly the dark iron lump on Zhang Yi's right hand, they became afraid again. Zhang Yi narrowed his eyes and said with a smile, I have spent a lot of effort to get these supplies for you. He signaled Jokir to open the luggage bag. Jokir obeyed, unzipped the zipper, and dumped everything in the luggage bag on the ground. Crash! A large pile of food appeared in front of everyone. There's vegetables, there's meat, there's bread and biscuits. Although the quality seems to be a bit worrying, most of them were not eaten by dogs in the past. But now, when these hungry neighbors saw them, their excited eyes turned green. Uncle Yu raised his fist and shouted, Long live Zhang Yi! Long live Zhang Yi! The neighbors immediately understood, and hurriedly raised their voices and raised their fists to follow suit. Long live Zhang Yi! Long live Zhang Yi! Zhang Yi, you are a hero. Brother, you will be my real brother from now on. Please be respected by my younger brother. Now even if Zhang Yi asked them to crawl over like dogs, they would be obedient. The temptation of food is too great. Among the crowd, Fang Yuqing and Lin Caning struggled to get out. The two looked very embarrassed at this time, with greasy and disheveled hair, like two female lunatics. Seeing that Zhang Yi brought back so much food, Fang Yuqing waved excitedly and shouted, Brother Zhang Yi, I'm Kinger. She looked at the heroic Zhang Yi, and felt very happy in her heart. Now she still feels that Zhang Yi loves her very much. Even if Jokir is by his side, he must have no more affection for her. So with so much food, I will definitely give her more. Lin Caning followed her, begging bitterly, Yuqing, we are good girlfriends. Please help me ask Zhang Yi for more food when the time comes. Fang Yuqing glanced at Lin Caning in disgust, and pushed her away. Get lost. You bitch. The fight here made Zhang Yi frown. Immediately someone shouted at them, Don't make trouble, listen to brother Zhang Yi. People around stared at Fang Yuqing and Lin Caning, and they became more honest. Fang Yuqing muttered softly, Why are you so fierce? Do you know what relationship I have with brother Zhang Yi? Seeing that everyone was honest, Zhang Yi said, It took me a lot of effort to find these supplies when I went out this time. The original intention was to distribute them to everyone. His tone suddenly turned cold. However, this is a time of crisis. And I will definitely not support idlers. If you eat these things, you have to take up weapons to fight against the enemy. Anyone who dares to eat and not work, I promise to make him spit out as much as he eats. Looking at the gun in Zhang Yi's hand and the food on the ground, everyone nodded and surrendered to Zhang Yi's radish and stick. Okay, let's distribute the food. After Zhang Yi finished speaking, he was ready to roll the roll. At this moment, two arms popped out of the window on the 4th floor. Several workers from the Cheyenne gang broke in. When they saw so much food on the ground, their excited eyes were terrifyingly bright. Brother Zhao, there's a lot of food, let's post it. A worker said excitedly. What else is there to say? Grab it. The 4 workers took out their weapons and slashed at Zhang Yi. This group of people is really ruthless. Even if there are dozens of people in front of them, they don't care. Because they can also see that everyone else is sheep, and there are very few people who can really beat them. Zhang Yi's pupils shrank, and he instinctively pulled out the gun to aim at them. But suddenly, he changed his mind. Instead of firing a shot, he retreated, shouting as he retreated, "The food is for you, don't let them take it away. Whoever kills one person, I will reward him with food for 5 people." As soon as these words came out, the neighbors who were afraid and just wanted to escape stopped in their tracks. That's right, these foods were brought to them by Zhang Yi. What would they eat if they were snatched away? Food is life, wouldn't one die without food? What's more, Zhang Yi said that if one person is killed, 5 people will be provided with food. The neighbors looked around, there were dozens of them, afraid of a bird. A few young men gritted their teeth, took out steel pipes and kitchen knives from their bodies, and rushed up. Now when the big guys go out, they always carry their weapons with them, which is very convenient. Zhang Yi, on the other hand, retreated to the back, pointing his pistol at the front, to prevent some people from taking advantage of the chaos to grab food. The 4 members of the Cheyenne gang were caught off guard. They thought that these bastards would run away in fright, but for some reason, they rushed up like a chicken blood. In the blink of an eye, everyone fell into chaos. There was not much space on the 4th floor, dozens of people crowded together, and the shovels, steel pipes, and kitchen knives made a ping, 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 ping sound. For the sake of food, the big guys are all jealous, coupled with the extremely cold temperature conditions, so that everyone will not feel very painful even if they are injured. PFFT. PFFT. Soon someone was injured and blood was spattered. But before they fell down, they were still desperately waving the weapons in their hands. Uncle Yu was the main force in the battle. He waved an iron rod in his hand, roaring furiously while smashing it down. Although the 4 members of the Cheyenne gang are not afraid of death, they can't stand up to so many people. Only 10 seconds later, they were smashed to the ground. Everyone was afraid that they would not die, so they continued to fight for a long time. The air was filled with people's roars. It's an emotional outlet. After all, during this period of time, they have been living in fear of death, and they have been attacked by members of the Cheyenne gang every day. So right now, killing the 4 members of the Cheyenne gang neatly made them feel much happier. The fear of the Cheyenne gang has also eased a lot. After the battle, 6 bodies were left on the ground. In addition to the 4 members of the Cheyenne gang, there are also 2 neighbors in the building. Their heads and necks were cut with shovels, and they bled profusely on the spot, and they fell to the ground after losing too much blood. Seeing this scene, Zhang Yi frowned slightly. As a professional surgeon, she knew that the 2 of them might still be saved. But it requires professional surgical conditions, as well as a lot of drugs and blood transfusions. But soon, Zhang Yi's expression became flat. It is possible to save them, but it is not necessary. It is impossible for Zhang Yi to spend a lot of supplies for them. Chapter 84 Zhang Yi, don't raise waste. Zhang Yi looked at the neighbors in front of him and nodded in satisfaction. After killing people, these neighbors can become qualified vanguards and cannon fodder. It will be much more convenient to help him deal with attacks from other units in the future. And all he needs to pay is a little bit of junk food and promises of various empty checks. Clap, clap, clap. Zhang Yi smiled and clapped his hands. Okay, well done. Did you see that? As long as we stick together, what do these people have to fear? Zhang Yi looked forward and waved to the 2 most hard-working young people. Come here, both of you. The 2 young men looked happy, and they came to Zhang Yi without wiping off the blood on their faces. Zhang Yi stretched out his hand, grabbed a lot of food from the ground, and stuffed it into someone's arms. If one is not enough, give another one. Puffy bread, moldy biscuits, dehydrated vegetable leaves, and a large piece of whitish zombie meat. These are all authentic good things. Seeing this scene, the other neighbors swallowed enviously, wishing those things belonged to them. Zhang Yi stuffed a lot of things for both of them, and then patted their shoulders. Work hard, as long as you keep this kind of energy in the future, I won't treat you badly. The 2 young men were so excited that their bodies were shaking. These things are enough for them to eat for several days. They all shed tears. It's been too long since I've eaten normal food. Brother Zhang Yi, we will definitely work hard with you in the future. We listen to you, you are my brother. The 2 young men were called Li Chengbin and Zhang Lei, and they shouted at the top of their voices. At this time, they looked at Zhang Yi's eyes, and they were all grateful. And when the other neighbors saw hope, they secretly regretted it. Why didn't they put in more effort just now? This scene was exactly what Zhang Yi wanted to see. After rewarding the two young men who contributed the most, Zhang Yi said to the others, "Next, it's time to distribute the food. Come one by one." Zhang Yi saw everyone's performance just now. He will give more to those who perform hard, and less to those who perform poorly. However, most people get just a loaf of bread, or 2 bags of biscuits no bigger than a child's palm. Zhang Yi has raised dogs before, so he understands the truth. If the dog is fed too much every day, it will become lazy and not so obedient. Therefore, the best way is to let it not starve to death, but it is always in a state of hunger. Only in this way can the dog be obedient all the time. The same is true for people. The neighbors were a little disappointed when they saw that there was not much food in their hands, but they didn't dare to say anything. Because Zhang Yi showed them 2 models first. If you say you have little food, you can only blame you for not working hard. Look at Li Chengbin and Zhang Lei, why do they have so much food? Look for problems less from others and more from yourself. Su Hao. Zhang Yi pointed at the rich second-generation Su Hao. Su Hao hurried over and stretched out his hands. "Where's my food?" Zhang Yi looked at him with some disgust, then pawed the ground twice with his feet, and took a piece of fruit candy and put it in his hand. "This is your food." Neighbors around laughed. Even those who didn't receive much food felt a lot more balanced at this time. "Look, although I get less food, there are still fewer than me." Haha, Su Hao is really unlucky. Su Hao's eyes widened, and a strong sense of humiliation enveloped his heart. He roared angrily, "Are you kidding me? Why do I only have 1 candy?" Zhang Yi sneered and said, "You still have the guts to shout? Just now when everyone else was doing it, you were swaying behind from the beginning to the end. You didn't even touch those people. I gave you this candy because I was kind. Already." Su Hao is very cunning. When he went up, he yelled loudly, holding a stick in his hand, and yelled, "Kill, kill them." But the voice was very loud, but the bottom of the feet retreated honestly, refusing to step forward to fight. Fishing in front of Zhang Yi, he really treats others as fools. Su Hao argued with his eyes wide open, "Can I be blamed? There are only 4 of them, and everyone is so crowded that I have no chance at all." Zhang Yi said, "That's not my problem. I don't care about the process, all I want is the result." Su Hao was furious, and shouted unwillingly, "It's not fair. You are so unfair, you are clearly targeting me." Zhang Yi smiled contemptuously. "Fair? Did you get something wrong? What kind of thing are you, worthy of talking to me about fairness? Do you really think I'm trying to reason with you? I'm ordering you, obey me. Do you understand, trash?" Zhang Yi glanced at Li Chengbin and Zhang Lei next to him. How to deal with this kind of disobedient, disorganized and undisciplined person? Li Chengbin and Zhang Lei have now become Zhang Yi's loyal lackeys. Zhang Yi gave an order, and the 2 carefully placed the food in their hands on the ground, then walked over, grabbed Su Hao and beat them hard. Su Hao wanted to refute a few things at first. But as a punch hit his stomach hard, his whole body convulsed. Anyone who still thinks about reasoning in the last days is definitely an out-and-out fool. Apart from teaching him with his fists, there is no need to talk nonsense. Su Hao was beaten for a long time, and Zhang Yi told Li Chengbin and Zhang Lei to stop when he was dying. Although Su Hao is a waste, he can be used as cannon fodder even if he takes up a weapon. Zhang Yi pointed at Su Hao and said to everyone, "This is what happens when you don't obey the landlord's order. Don't say I'm overbearing, I'm very fair. If anyone here thinks I'm overbearing, you can put down the food in your hand and leave with a backbone. I will definitely not cause any trouble for him." The neighbors looked at each other, but no one stood up. "Just kidding, food is their life, how can they be willing?" Zhang Yi nodded, "Very well, then we have reached a consensus." He walked up to Su Hao. At this time, although Su Hao was convulsed from the beating, he curled up into a shrimp. But his hand still clenched tightly. A piece of fruit candy might save his life. Zhang Yi's eyes were indifferent, and he stepped on his hand hard. He was wearing snow boots with very rough and hard soles. Stepping on Su Hao's hand directly caused a layer of flesh to fall off the back of his hand, blood flowing. "What?" Su Hao screamed in pain and couldn't help letting go. Zhang Yi kicked the candy away, and said to Su Hao in the despairing eyes, "Next time, I hope you will behave better. Zhang Yi, don't raise trash." With this dismount, Everyone became honest. Obediently waiting for Zhang Yi to distribute food to them, no one dared to make any comments. Soon, Zhang Yi finished distributing the food, only a few people did not get it. Chapter 85 Humiliation of the White Lotus. Okay, the supplies have been distributed. Zhang Yi asked Jokir to put the remaining supplies into his pocket. But at this time, an anxious cry suddenly came out from the crowd. Brother Zhang Yi, I haven't. The person who made the sound was Fang Yuqing. She always thought that Zhang Yi would definitely take special care of her and give her the most food. But after waiting for a long time, nothing came. Lin Caning next to Fang Yuqing also said anxiously, Brother Zhang Yi, why did you forget me too? Zhang Yi looked at the two jokingly. I haven't forgotten you. The two looked happy, thinking that Zhang Yi was taking special care of them and put it at the end on purpose. But what Zhang Yi said next made them fall to the bottom. You two didn't have one. Fang Yuqing and Lin Caning were dumbfounded and stared, as if they couldn't believe their ears. Lin Caning blurted out, why? Others have it, why don't I have it? Fang Yuqing couldn't accept this even more. She rushed to Zhang Yi from the crowd, and asked aggrievedly with tears, Brother Zhang Yi, are you joking with Kinger? Right? It's not true, you wouldn't treat me like this. Didn't you say you liked Kinger? Zhang Yi folded his arms and raised his eyebrows, I said I like you. But, you won't take it seriously, will you? I'm like this with many girls. We all come out to play, and we know each other well. Now I'm out of freshness with you, please don't bother me in the future. I already have a girlfriend. As Zhang Yi said, he deliberately hugged Jokir into his arms. Jokir and Fang Yuqing standing together are really a stark contrast. One is a high-achieving student who graduated from a prestigious university and an attending doctor in a tertiary hospital. He is not picky about his figure, appearance or temperament. One is an employee of a small company, who chats with various men every day, and constantly scoops up women in nightclubs. Which one to choose is a matter of personal understanding. What's more, at this time Fang Yuqing was unkempt and very embarrassed. But Jokir has exquisite makeup and bright clothes. Comparing the two, they are like a fairy and a beggar. Fang Yuqing couldn't bear such a blow. The beauty and charm she was most proud of were trampled under Zhang Yi's feet. She cried and pointed at Zhang Yi and said, No, it's not true. You let me live in your house a while ago. Why are you like this now? The corner of Zhang Yi's mouth twitched. What are you talking about? I'm just kidding you. Look at how funny you are now. He immediately looked at Wang Min and Lin Caning. Hey, did she tell you every day that I like her? And that I would let her in? Wang Min and Lin Caning nodded quickly. That's right, this woman knows how to daydream without shaking billion at all. This kind of scum doesn't know how much she is. She even killed my cousin. She really deserves to die. Zhang Yi executed Fang Yuqing in public and stripped her underwear clean. Everyone looked at her with contempt. Fang Yuqing's face was pale, she covered her head and said, No, stop talking. Please stop talking. Zhang Yi ignored her, and continued, A woman like you still thinks she's a fairy, thinking about catching rich second generations every day. But I don't know that you are famous in the rich second generation circle in Xianhe City. Who doesn't know that you are a scumbag who can sleep for a little money? Zhang Yi looked at Su Hao. Su Hao, tell me, what is her nickname? Su Hao curled up on the ground, gritted his teeth and said, Universal Socket, Bus, Russian Roulette. There was a burst of laughter at the scene. Ho ha ho ha. Unexpectedly, there are such talents in our unit building. It's a pity that I had a crush on her before, shit. It looks like a few hundred yuan can be done, if I had known why I would go to such trouble. What a shameless bitch. The waves of mocking and swearing completely surrounded Fang Yuqing. Even if she tried her best to cover her ears, she couldn't stop the sound. What? She yelped like crazy and ran out. Zhang Yi took out a small bag of biscuits and threw it in front of Su Hao. Sensible, this is your reward. The same is true for dog training. Give some rewards when you are obedient. Su Hao's eyes were full of ecstasy. He didn't expect the lost food to be found again. So much so that even though he was beaten violently just now, the hatred for Zhang Yi in his heart has faded a lot. On the contrary, I think Zhang Yi is a fair person in my heart. It was also my own fault just now, so I shouldn't resist Zhang Yi. Thank you, brother Zhang Yi, I will be obedient in the future. At this time, Lin Caning also stood up. Zhang Yi, Fang Yuqing offended me before, but I have no conflicts with you, right? I talked to you just now, do you want to give me more food? Zhang Yi glanced at her. No. Lin Caning immediately became angry and screamed, "Why? The person you are chasing is her, not me." Zhang Yi looked at her and said seriously, "I just annoy you and I don't want to give it to you. Can't I?" Lin Caning choked on these words. "You." Zhang Yi, "I took the things back, and I have the power to give to whomever I want. If you have any opinions, just hold back. This is not fair." Lin Caning burst into tears. "It's fair to mention evil pen." Zhang Yi didn't bother to talk to her, and others looked at Lin Caning gloatingly. Li Chengbin and Zhang Lei drove Lin Caning away in a sensible manner, so that she would not be an eyesore by staying here. After distributing the supplies, Zhang Yi said, "Next, let's talk about how to do a good job of defense." Next to Uncle Yu, Zhilimi frowned, and whispered in his ear, "Why is there no one from our family? You killed 2 of us, so you should give us 11 people." Uncle Yu said, "Zhang Yi won't forget us, so don't talk yet." Zhilimi glanced at him dissatisfied, then looked at Zhang Yi, lowered her head and muttered something in a low voice. Zhang Yi said, "In our building, after removing the children who cannot walk, there are still 47 people. Zhou Qier, and Uncle Yu and Zhilimi are excluded. There are 43 other people left, divided into 6 groups, each with 7 or 8 people. Turn on duty 24 hours a day to prevent people from other buildings from attacking. Once you find someone coming, you ring the banister or other metal objects to notify everyone. After the people on other floors wake up, they will use this method to notify the people on the higher floors." Zhang Yi put his hands in his pockets and said seriously, "The reward I just said is always valid. Kill an enemy and reward 5 people with food. If there is no merit, there will be food for 1 person every day just on duty. But others have to choose first, and the portion cannot be guaranteed." After speaking, Zhang Yi said to Uncle Yu, "Uncle Yu, you can arrange this matter." Uncle Yu nodded, "Okay, no problem." Chapter 86. After Zhang Yi finished speaking, the neighbors bowed their heads and pondered the pros and cons of it. Someone asked, "Zhang Yi, it's understandable that you and Zhou Qier don't need to be on duty. But why doesn't Uncle Yu not have to be on duty? Obviously he is the best at fighting." Zhang Yi stared at him, and said word by word, "Because Uncle Yu is an important combat force, so you have to recharge your batteries and wait for the key battle before going out. Do you understand?" This statement is far-fetched, but no one dares to refute Zhang Yi's words. In fact, Zhang Yi's real purpose is to ensure the safety of Uncle Yu. The rest are on the front line, responsible for resisting the impact of enemies from other buildings. It is equivalent to cannon fodder, or to put it mildly, it is a consumable. And Uncle Yu is good at skills, kind and upright. He is the best subordinate in Zhang Yi's heart. Of course he must be kept alive so that he can serve Zhang Yi in the future. After the arrangements were made, Zhang Yi asked the neighbors to go back to their homes, and only the person on duty stayed near the 4th floor. If you want to attack their unit building, the 4th floor is a must. Whether it is digging a tunnel below or climbing in from a window on the 4th floor. So by keeping here, you can discover any invading enemies in time. Everyone else went upstairs before Zhang Yi brought Zhou Qier back. He won't leave his back to someone he doesn't trust. At this time, there was no one else around. Zhilimi saw that Zhang Yi didn't talk about the food for their family, so she couldn't help asking, "Zhang Yi, did you forget about our food?" Zhang Yi raised his head and glanced at Zhilimi in front of him, with a cold smile in his eyes. Uncle Yu quickly tugged at her arm. "What are you talking about?" But Zhilimi said, "Brother Yu obviously contributed the most, but he didn't give anything." "This is too." Zhang Yi said, "The supplies I brought back are more than these. The ones for others are all bad, and the good ones are kept. Uncle Yu, you can get it at my house later." When Zhilimi heard this, she immediately put on a smiling face. "I knew you wouldn't let him work in vain." Uncle Yu gave her a blank look. "I told you a long time ago that Brother Zhang Yi is a trustworthy person." Zhang Yi smiled without saying a word. After returning home, Zhang Yi took out a box of instant noodles from the different space, put it at the door, and then notified Uncle Yu to come and get it in 10 minutes. After entering the room, Zhang Yi quickly took off his winter clothes. Dang dang! The frying pan inside the leather jacket fell to the floor. Zhou Qier picked up the pan with a smile. "I'm afraid there aren't even ghosts outside, so you must be too careful." Zhang Yi smiled slightly. "I won't need this thing in the future." He found better ones. Police body armor is both snug and safe. After returning to his warm house, the feeling of happiness in Zhang Yi's heart became more profound. When going out, Facing the low temperature of more than -70 degrees, even wearing winter clothes, you will feel cold. Especially when driving a motorcycle, that feeling is even more obvious. Zhang Yi took out some food from the different space and put it on the table. Zhou Qi'er was also hungry all day. Before Zhang Yi left, he took away all the food. He had nothing to eat, and neither did Zhou Qi'er. The two of them sat at the dinner table, feasting their hearts out. Zhou Qi'er asked curiously, "How is it outside now?" Zhang Yi said, "What else can I do?" The city was closed by heavy snow, and the low-rise buildings were completely covered. According to this situation, even if the heavy snow stops and the temperature returns to normal, it will take half a month for the snow to melt. Zhou Qi'er nodded, "But now it's winter, and the temperature will only get lower. That's not a problem for us." Zhang Yi said, "What needs to be dealt with now is people. People in the last days are more terrifying existences than devils." After the two of them finished their meal, Zhou Qi'er snuggled up to Zhang Yi's side and put his arms around his shoulders. Zhang Yi glanced at her. "Why?" Zhou Qi'er's face turned reddish. "Get warm." As he spoke, he squeezed Zhang Yi's body with his fat rich lair. Ever since she was enlightened by Zhang Yi, she seemed to have awakened and pestered Zhang Yi every day. Thanks to Zhang Yi being young, strong and full of energy, an ordinary person might not be able to stand it. Zhang Yi smiled and patted her plump buttocks. "I don't have time to talk to you now, you go take a shower first, go back to your room and lie down." Zhou Qi'er winked at Zhang Yi, then went to take a bath obediently. What made Zhang Yi let go of his beauty? Of course it is a common hobby of men. Zhang Yi took out all the firearms collected today from the different space. He still has some knowledge about firearms. After all, he joined the Shanghai City Shooting Association before and often went to the shooting range to play. The firearms used by the police are naturally much better than the ones he bought on the black market. So Zhang Yi eliminated the gun he used before and replaced it with 2 police pistols, loaded with bullets. Holsters and arming belts are also readily available and can be hung directly on the waist. Then, Zhang Yi began to study those rifles and the big sniper he got. The shooting range in Shanghai City also has a special rifle for target shooting, but no sniper rifle. However, the modern network is well developed, and there are complete introductions about various firearms on the internet. Zhang Yi took out his mobile phone to search online, and soon found an introduction about them. I didn't expect those network servers to still be running. Sure enough, big companies still have means. Zhang Yi said with emotion. Although in the last days, many internet companies have closed down, and a large number of software have also ceased operations. However, the servers of a small number of large enterprises are still in operation. Of course, this is also in cooperation with the official operation. At least for now, human beings still haven't given up on rebuilding after the end of the world, and still retain part of the fire of civilization. Without hesitation, Zhang Yi studied the instructions of these firearms online. Since Zhang Yi himself has experience in using firearms, he learns quickly. Whether you can shoot accurately or not, at least you know how to shoot and reload. At worst, it can be used to bluff people, that's enough. The existence of firearms itself is the greatest deterrent. Zhang Yi thought for a while, loaded these firearms with magazines, and opened the safety, and put them in the different space. In this way, in case of an emergency, he can take out the gun to shoot at any time. But for that big sniper, he couldn't put it down. Guns are a man's romance. And it can be said that men love guns by nature. Zhang Yi raised his gun and used the scope to look at the opposite building. In the unit building about 50 meters away from here, the windows of the opposite house are clearly visible at this time, and even the locks on the windows can be seen clearly. Find a chance to try this gun, it's a ghost weapon. A smile appeared on the corner of Zhang Yi's mouth. Head-on collisions are not something he likes to do. Hiding in a corner and being shot dead when others don't know where he is, that's the best thing. Chapter 87 The Revenge of Xiangang. Zhang Yi enjoyed himself with a sniper rifle, observing the situation of the entire community through the scope. Since it was night, other people's houses did not have electricity, so the inside of the apartment building was pitch black. However, with the reflection of the snow, the outside is still a vast expanse of whiteness, and some scenery can be vaguely seen. Suddenly, Zhang Yi's eyes froze. When he looked towards the garage not far away, 2 small black dots appeared in his side and were moving. Garage, men. Looks like they were after my snowmobile. A mocking sneer appeared on the corner of Zhang Yi's mouth. When he came back during the day, He pretended to put the snowmobile in the garage. Sure enough, someone sneaked past at night. It's just a pity that they are destined to be in vain. After a while, Uncle Yu came over. When he saw a whole box of unopened instant noodles at the door, his eyes were moist with excitement. I didn't expect it to belong to Big Xiang. Zhang Yi, you are so interesting. Save this box of instant noodles, enough for the 3 of them for a week. Thinking that Zhang Yi didn't have much supplies at home, and he still gave him so many instant noodles, Uncle Yu only had the word moved in his heart. There are not many instant noodles of this kind in Zhang Yi's family, and there are only more than 2 boxes in the warehouse. And until now, he has never eaten a pack. After all, there are various big meals made by famous hotel chefs at home. Who eats that stuff? Uncle Yu picked up the instant noodles, knocked on the door and said, Zhang Yi, I took the instant noodles. Thank you. Zhang Yi put down the sniper rifle in his hand, came to the door and said, Uncle Yu, why are you being polite to me? It doesn't matter whether others live or die, Uncle Yu must be kept, and he must be fed. Only in this way, Uncle Yu can be his gold medal fighter and human shield in the future. It's not that Zhang Yi is cruel. Unless it was absolutely necessary, he would not let Uncle Yu die for him. Well, not as a last resort. Uncle Yu scratched his head and smirked. Don't take what Zilimi said to you during the day. She has a bit of a broken mouth. Zhang Yi lowered his eyes and smiled faintly. Hey, can I still argue with a woman? Zhang Yi, are not that narrow-minded. It's just that Uncle Yu, do you really want to raise children for others? Zhang Yi's tone was a bit tentative. He didn't like Zilimi, a woman, but he didn't want to have a deadlock with Uncle Yu. Therefore, sowing dissension has to be done a little bit. Uncle Yu smiled. Hey, what are you talking about these days? It's not bad that I can find such a woman. Zhang Yi nodded. Well, that's what you said. In fact, Sister Z is a good woman. She looks good, and she can have children. I don't mean anything else. I just think that you, Uncle Yu, despise yourself too much. In this day and age, a man like you who is strong and good at fighting is very sought after. Just kidding, it's not too much to ask you to find a female celebrity now. Uncle Yu was very happy to be praised. Am I as good as you say? Zhang Yi said, it's not that you haven't seen what's going on now. Those little boys who can sing, dance, and rap are useless. They can't support themselves. It's men like us who can give women a sense of security. Having said that, Zhang Yi changed the subject. But then again, Big Sister Z is really good. You work hard. And let her give birth to a baby for you in the future. After all, men still have to have their own children. Raising other people's children is more or less, Uncle Yu felt a little uncomfortable. What Zhang Yi said evoked some thoughts in his heart. He likes Zilimi very much. She has a plump body and good skills, which can satisfy him, an old bachelor. But that doll is less than a year old, which is really a drag in this age. In order to take care of her, Uncle Yu was often woken up in the middle of the night, so he couldn't guarantee a rest. It's fine if it's your own child, the key is someone else's. People are selfish. Uncle Yu had long been dissatisfied in his heart, but he endured it and didn't think about it deeply. In addition, Zilimi brainwashed him all day long. Whatever you say, take this child as your own daughter, and when she grows up, she will respect you. After a long time, Uncle Yu really honestly helped other people raise their children. It was Zhang Yi's words that woke him up and made him start to think differently. Haha, I don't dare to think about having children or something now. Let's talk about it later when I've settled down. Uncle Yu suppressed the strangeness in his heart and said with a smile. That's right, that's right. Haha, I'm just talking casually, Uncle Yu, don't take it to heart. I respect you and Sister Z very much, and I sincerely hope that you will be happy. Uncle Yu nodded. Then I'll go back first. Contact me anytime if you need anything. After Uncle Yu left, Zhang Yi also filled the magazine of the sniper rifle and retracted it to the different space. These rifles and sniper rifles will become his secret weapons. After a while, the sound of water in the bathroom stopped. Jokir came out wrapped in a bath towel. Under the pink bath towel was her milk-white skin. The 2 long legs that have been properly exercised have elegant lines, exuding a seductive luster under the light. Zhang Yi lay on the sofa and said lazily, I'm a little tired today, you move. Jokir looked at Zhang Yi on the sofa with a slightly hesitant expression. He had been out running for a day, so he must have been sweating all over, and he didn't even take a shower. However, She didn't raise any objections, but came to him obediently and knelt down on the floor. That night, the Cheyenne gang, which lost 4 gang members, launched an attack on 25 again. The successive successes in the past few days made them pay no attention to the people in Unit 25, except Zhang Yi. But this time, they were unexpectedly blocked. The leader of the team was Wang Xianfang's nephew Wang Wei, who was good at sneaking around at night. At around 2 o'clock in the morning, he led 8 people into 25 in the dark. Unexpectedly, as soon as I came to the stairs, there were bricks thrown down from above. Dang dang dang. Those on duty spotted the enemy and immediately counterattacked with what they had in their hands. Holding kitchen knives, sticks and other weapons, they blocked the Cheyenne gang from a high position, and then smashed down the stones, bricks and random heavy objects they had picked up, so as to delay the time. While resisting, they knocked on the stairs and windows to make noise and attract neighbors. Soon, neighbors in the entire building were woken up. Wang Wei and others were eager for revenge. Coupled with the lack of supplies, they chose to attack. But their number is too small after all. Even if the combat power is fierce, they can't beat so many people. What's more, because of Zhang Yi's reward, one of their lives is equal to 5 people's food. The neighbors are all vying to grab the head like a chicken blood. The battle lasted only a few minutes, and everyone's hands were dead, leaving 3 corpses at the scene. Seeing that the situation was wrong, Wang Wei and the others quickly shouted, "Retreat first, let's go." As soon as they ran, the neighbors at 25 in the back were so happy that they chased after them screaming. A worker who was running slowly was chopped up by a kitchen knife before he had time to climb out of the window, and even sank half of the knife head. He let out a scream, and struggled to get out with his hips tilted. After they went out, the neighbors didn't dare to chase after them. After all, it was late at night and they didn't know what was going on outside. But at this time, Zhang Yi was also woken up. He came to the balcony, looked at the fleeing members of the Cheyenne gang below, and suddenly had an idea. At this distance, can you kill them with a sniper rifle? Chapter 88. When a man meets a beautiful woman, his first thought is to communicate with her in depth. And when you get a good weapon, you want to try its power. This is a habit engraved in my bones. Even if I picked up a good bamboo on the side of the road when I was a child, I would use it as a sword. What's more, what Zhang Yi got was a sniper rifle, which in Huaguo is something that ordinary people dare not even think about, let alone use it to beat people. Try this thing to see if it works. Zhang Yi took out a sniper rifle from a different space, stood on the balcony on the 24th floor and started aiming down. The 24x mirror is really powerful. From the height of the floor, I saw a few people who were only the size of ants, but now they look clearly. Zhang Yi held his breath to prevent the hot breath from blurring the scope. The 7 fleeing men waded back through the snow at a slow speed, so it was not difficult to aim. Zhang Yi suppressed the excitement in his heart, aimed at a person's back and pulled the trigger. For some reason, the moment the bullet ejected from the chamber, he had a wonderful feeling. The bullet would definitely hit. Boom. A gunshot sounded very clearly in the silent night. I don't know how many people were awakened from uneasy sleep by this voice. Looking through the scope, Zhang Yi saw the man fell to the ground, blood staining the large expanse of snow. Fuck, why is my marksmanship so accurate? Am I a genius? Zhang Yi was surprised and delighted at the same time. Originally, he just wanted to test whether the gun worked well, and he didn't have much hope. But I didn't expect to get into the soul. What is that strange feeling that just appeared? Zhang Yi was a little surprised. But he didn't have time to think about it. The people next to him heard the gunshots and saw that an accomplice was dead, and they all sped up in fright. Zhang Yi quickly changed the bomb, and then aimed at the next person. That magical feeling came back once again when he focused his attention on a person. Boom. Gunshots rang out, and another person fell to the ground. This time Zhang Yi understood that it was not a coincidence that he was able to shoot the enemy from the height of the 24th floor, but a talent. Ahem, to be precise, it should be some kind of special ability. Zhang Yi muttered to himself, it seems that the ability I awakened is not just as simple as a different space. But the potential has not been discovered by the previous me. But what is certain is that his supernatural ability must be related to space. This makes him a natural sharpshooter. He used to use crossbows and pistols for close-range combat. He didn't notice this ability, but felt that the hand feeling when shooting was very good. At this time, I changed to a sniper rifle, and that feeling became very obvious. Zhang Yi's heart was very excited. In the end times, having one more ability would be more costly to save his life. He reloaded and raised his gun again, this time aiming at a person's head. Boom. As the gunshots passed, he saw that man's head exploded into a cloud of blood. Confirmed correctly, this is indeed a powerful ability of precise shooting. Zhang Yi was ecstatic in his heart, and he aimed at several other people. Crack. 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 After firing a shot, he quickly pulled a bolt to change the bullet. The sound of gunshots echoed in the community. One shot at each person, and before those few people had time to escape back, they all died on the way. The 7 corpses fell on the white snow, their blood stained a large area of bright red, which looked particularly glaring. There is an unstoppable smile on the corner of Zhang Yi's mouth. From now on, he can hide and be a top-notch 6th son, dedicated to murdering others. At this time, the neighbors downstairs heard the gunshots and watched Wang Wei and others fall down one by one as if they were called, with a look of horror in their eyes. The gunshot came from upstairs. Upstairs, Zhang Yi must have done it. Such a long distance, it must not be a pistol, it should be the power of a sniper rifle. My god, it's so far away and killed with one blow. Zhang Yi turned out to be a sharpshooter. Everyone was dumbfounded, and at the same time felt a burst of fear. With Zhang Yi's ability, wouldn't killing them be as easy as crushing an ant? They automatically made up their minds, thinking that Zhang Yi might be a soldier king hiding in the city. Otherwise, how could he have such good marksmanship? It seems that it is better to obediently listen to Zhang Yi's words in the future. Yet, we can live until now because Zhang Yi didn't lose his temper. The brain power of human beings is terrifying, and they're all of Zhang Yi broke through the sky at this time. And not just them. The gunshots at midnight woke up the entire community. Zhang Yi's sniper rifle does not have a silencer, but anyone with a little knowledge of this field can tell that it is definitely not the sound that a pistol can make. At a time when a single pistol can rule a building, if anyone has a more powerful rifle or even a sniper rifle, one can imagine how terrifying it would be. Zhang Yi put away the sniper rifle and rubbed his shoulders with his hands. The continuous shooting made his shoulders feel a little sore. Fortunately, I have a good physical fitness, otherwise my shoulder will hurt for several days. That night, many people should have been unable to sleep again. Uncle Yu sent a message to Zhang Yi, asking if he fired a gun. Uncle Yu had been in the army, so he immediately judged that it was a sniper rifle. Zhang Yi didn't hide it either, and said to him, I got it at the police station today. Uncle Yu asked curiously, have you been in the army before? What is the army number? Zhang Yi's marksmanship is too fierce. According to Uncle Yu's eyes, it is definitely at the level of the Spear King in the army. Zhang Yi smiled, I'm just talented, haha. Uncle Yu thought that Zhang Yi didn't want to talk, so he didn't continue to ask. It's good that you fired a gun. If it's someone else, we'll be in danger. Zhang Yi chatted with him casually, and then went back to the room, lying on his warm and soft bed and sleeping soundly. The next day he slept until after 9 o'clock, he got up to wash up, and released Jokir from the room. Let's get something to eat. I want to eat the food I just made. You can make 2 bowls of fried noodles. Zhang Yi said to Jokir. Jokir laughed, I can't cook as well as the ones in the noodle shop. Zhang Yi shrugged indifferently, then practice more, anyway, our time is very long. I have eaten the food in the restaurant for a long time, and occasionally I want to eat some home-cooked food for a change. Jokir obediently went to the kitchen, and after a while, she came out with 2 bowls of fried noodles. Zhang Yi took a sip, and the taste was not bad. By the way, Zhang Yi installed surveillance cameras throughout the house, including the kitchen. The ingredients are also provided by him. As for Jokir, on the first day she came in, Zhang Yi checked her whole body inside and out. Until now, Zhang Yi has to help her check her body every day, and it is from the inside to the outside, not letting go of a corner. Therefore, all possibilities of Jokir prescribing drugs were eliminated. Otherwise, he wouldn't eat the food that was brought to him. Sitting on the table, Jokir asked curiously, I heard gunshots yesterday, did you shoot on the balcony? If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 89 Warehouse District. Zhang Yi glanced at her and said with a smile, yes. He took a bite of the noodles, Zhou Qir's skill was only average, but fortunately, noodles are not difficult to make. I found it when I went out. It's a sniper. Zhang Yi's tone was very light. Zhou Qir's beautiful eyes shone with excitement. Sniper? Do you know how to use it? Not only will it, but I also use it very well. Zhang Yi pointed out the window. I killed 7 people with 7 bullets last night. Zhang Yi is quite proud of this. Men like to show off the prey to women. Zhou Qir looked at Zhang Yi with a little more admiration. By the side of such a man, her safety will be more guaranteed. Zhang Yi, you are amazing. She held her chin in her hands and looked at Zhang Yi with admiration. Why, don't you wonder how I can use a sniper rifle? Zhang Yi asked with a smile. Zhou Qir shook his head. What does that have to do with me? Even if you used to be a murderer, or a pervert. Now I'm following you. She thought for a while, and then said, it's better than dying outside, right? Zhang Yi nodded. You are really smart, unlike some stupid women who always like to ask questions. 26. Xian Gang here. Wang Xianfang didn't find the bodies of Wang Wei and others until morning. Last night, after hearing the gunshots, he felt something was wrong. However, out of caution, he didn't dare to take anyone out to check, but he basically knew in his heart that Wang Wei and the others would not be able to come back. In the morning, they saw the 10 corpses piled up outside. For a moment, Wang Bian's pupils tightened, and a strong anger arose in his heart, but the fear in his heart was 10 times the anger. Now, there are only 9 members left in their Xian gang, and their fighting power has dropped sharply. Even if the owners who are still alive are forced to join, it will not be able to make up for the lack of combat effectiveness of those workers. If at this time, a battle with other buildings suddenly broke out, they would be at a huge disadvantage. They have guns, and they are not ordinary guns. I guess they are rifles or sniper rifles. The bullets were fired so densely last night, which means that they also have a lot of ammunition in their hands. This opponent is really difficult to deal with. Wang Xianfeng's expression was very serious. The rest of his subordinates also looked fearful. Boss, what should we do? Dai and the others are all dead, and more than half of our people are gone. Do we still want to do it? Wang Yan looked viciously at 25 next door, gritted his teeth and said, what the hell, they have guns in their hands, what are you going to do to them? The people under him were in a hurry. But if he didn't rob his sledge and supplies, the owners of our building wouldn't have enough to eat for a few days. After Wang Xianfeng was silent for a moment, he said in a deep voice, go tonight and steal Dai's corpse back. Everyone looked at each other, a look of struggle flashed across their faces. They are all brothers who have lived and died together for many years now. I want to. Everyone felt uncomfortable, but no one spoke. They know that other things are less important than living. After Zhang Yi and Zhou Qir finished their meal, he stood up. I'm going out. Zhou Qir heard this, and quickly stuffed a bag of potato chips into his pocket. Zhang Yi didn't say much, but this time he didn't put away the 2 boxes of ingredients in the kitchen. Having lived together for a long time, he has full confidence in Zhou Qir's IQ. Unless there is a better tree than him for her to attach to, she will not do the stupid thing of betraying Zhang Yi. When Zhang Yi came downstairs, the people on duty immediately stood up straight after seeing him. Brother Zhang, are you going out? Zhang Yi glanced at them, and from their eyes, one could see the awe from the heart. Zhang Yi's strength has been recognized by everyone. Zhang Yi nodded, do it well. He climbed out from the window on the 4th floor, and after a little thought, he pretended to make a detour to the garage behind. Soon after, he rode his motorcycle and left the community. Figures appeared in front of the windows of many houses, watching Zhang Yi going away. Their eyes are very complicated, some are excited, some are envious, and some are hideous. 21. At this time, the building is managed by an organization called the Serious Gang, and its members are a group of young men in their 20s. The head of the Serious Gang, Wang Qiang, stood in front of the window, a bloody machete in his hand that was already slightly rusted. He watched Zhang Yi leave the community with his own eyes, and couldn't help frowning. Where is his motorcycle hidden? Last night, he was the one who sent someone to steal Zhang Yi's car. His second-in-command Xiaolu said, our neighborhood is quite big, and he hides very secretly, so it's really hard to find. Wang Qiang snorted coldly, crossed his arms and said, no matter what, this car must be controlled by our Serious Gang. With a snowmobile, we can go out to find supplies. It will not be a problem to expand the team and form a big gang. Xiaolu also nodded seriously. That's right, Heroes emerge in troubled times, and this era is our brother's opportunity. He looked at the direction where Zhang Yi left, his eyes were bloodshot. Now, find a way to get a few packs of cigarettes. I haven't smoked for half a month, and I'm going crazy. In other unit buildings, the speakers also initiated discussions against Zhang Yi. The appearance of Zhang Yi is a crisis for them. The crisis is that Zhang Yi has a gun, and it is a large firearm. But this is also an opportunity, because Zhang Yi has a snowmobile and can go out to get supplies. Some people want to fight, some people want to cooperate, but one thing is for sure, they will all come into contact with Zhang Yi soon, it is inevitable. Zhang Yi left this time, and first went to a nearby supermarket to have a look. But it's a pity that the nearby supermarkets are not built high enough, and some small supermarkets have only one floor, so they are all buried by heavy snow. It seems that unless the snow melts in the whole city, the only places where food can be obtained are those few independent large supermarkets. And warehouses. Zhang Yi suddenly thought of the place where he worked before. In the southwest of the economic development zone, there used to be a large piece of wasteland, which was later developed for various enterprises to build factories and warehouses. Because the land price is cheap, the warehouses in the city are basically there. Zhang Yi emptied Walmart's warehouse, but there were still goods from other companies there. Medical care, food, cars, toys, everything. Go and have a look, maybe there's something useful. Zhang Yi made up his mind, turned the car around and drove towards the warehouse area. The warehouse is only about 10 kilometers away from here, and Zhang Yi arrived there in less than 10 minutes. It is very empty here, and the factory buildings are built relatively high, and there is no excessive snow piled up like in the city. So when Zhang Yi came over, he could still see the tops of some factory buildings. Chapter 90 Gas Station. Zhang Yi knows this area too well. In the entire Xianhe city, the warehouses of hundreds of groups are concentrated here, large and small. If he could gather all the supplies back, let alone himself, it would not be a problem to feed thousands of people. It's just that the biggest problem is whether those supplies are still there. Zhang Yi took out a pistol and a crowbar, and went to the warehouse of T-Mart not far away to check. He took a crowbar and smashed the window straight from the top. As a result, he poked his head and looked inside, only to find that the huge factory building had become empty at this time. Been transported away? Zhang Yi was already prepared in his heart, so he was not too surprised. He continued to come to other warehouses with the same result. Warehouses of medical equipment, household items, food, even snacks and pet food have been emptied. As I thought. When a disaster occurs, the official experts will report the disaster situation as soon as possible. The people above will definitely transfer the materials. That's why Zhang Yi wanted to evacuate the Walmart warehouse a week in advance. He knew that once a disaster strikes, those powerful figures will only prioritize themselves, and will not consider the life and death of ordinary people. Zhang Yi did not give up the search. There are hundreds of warehouses here, maybe there are things that haven't been taken away, and they just happen to be useful to him. Sure enough, hard work paid off, and Zhang Yi found a warehouse for storing cars after working for a long time. The area inside has millions of square meters, which is very spacious. On the steel frame, the cars are neatly arranged like sardine cans. There are many luxurious cars inside, which can be sold for several million before the end of the world. But now, they are completely useless, and I really can't think of any use. After Zhang Yi saw so many vehicles, he also felt very tasteless. He straightened his teeth, struggled for a long time, and finally gritted his teeth. Anyway, there are so many places in the space, so throw them in first. What if they are needed in the future? Men, all love cars. Seeing so many expensive luxury cars inside, Zhang Yi wanted to collect them for fun. Although he couldn't drive them at this time, he could enjoy his eyesight. Think of it as an advanced model. So he picked a dozen of his favorite cars and put them in his different space. For the next day, Zhang Yi was busy in this warehouse area. Most of the warehouses have been emptied, and those left behind are inconvenient to carry away. For example, large-scale machinery and equipment, or batches of decoration materials. I didn't find anything for food or use. Zhang Yi gritted his teeth, endured the entanglement, and picked up many things like picking up junk. Heavy trucks, excavators, Rolls-Royce Phantom, bulldozers. What if it is used in the future? Zhang Yi persuaded himself so. Immediately, he felt that his idea was really ridiculous. In the world of ice and snow, this kind of car can't move a centimeter out. What a fart it is. Fortunately, the special space is large enough, and it is still spacious even if all these cars are stuffed in. After working for a long time, Zhang Yi felt that it was almost the same. This place has no value to continue exploring, and now he has no other urgent needs. He took out a piece of chocolate from the different space, and quickly ate it into his stomach. It's just that when eating, the cold wind pours into the mouth, and the taste is a little uncomfortable. No way, drinking hot water is out of the question now. As soon as the lid is unscrewed, it will cool down in half a minute. Zhang Yi took a mouthful of snow from the ground and stuffed it into his mouth, so he could just drink some water. Then soon, he thought of a place he needed to go. Because I have a lot of cars, I think of gasoline and diesel. Gasoline and diesel oil originally stored in different spaces are enough for daily use. But judging from the current situation, he will apply a large number of snowmobiles as a daily means of transportation. In this case, the amount stored may not be sufficient. Out of prudence, Zhang Yi decided to go to the gas station to see if he could get some fuel. Zhang Yi got on the snowmobile, thought for a while, and drove towards the largest gas station in Xianhe City. Not long after, he arrived at a location in his memory. But after coming here, the scene in front of him made him exhale a long mouthful of white smoke. The huge gas station has been completely covered by falling snow. Zhang Yi can only judge its location from the surrounding tall buildings. Although I have been mentally prepared, it is inevitable that I will be a little disappointed. Gas stations don't have high-rise buildings. If you put it this way, can't you find no place to refuel? Damn it. Zhang Yi frowned, feeling a little helpless about the situation in front of him. According to the current thickness of ice and snow, it is almost impossible to excavate by manpower. And, who knows how many years the snowstorm will last. Is it possible to save fuel in the future? According to the storage in his different space and the fuel consumption of the snowmobile, it may be exhausted in 20 years. This is not good news. Manpower is really weak. It would be great if we could use large-scale mechanical equipment to dig. Zhang Yi smiled self-deprecatingly. Just as he was about to turn the key and leave, he suddenly thought of something. Excavation equipment? Is the excavator okay? He just picked up some work vehicles from the warehouse, including several excavators. Originally, I just picked it up and kept it, waiting for a chance to use it in the future. Didn't expect to use it so soon. It is absolutely a breeze to dig holes in the snow with an excavator. But to be honest, it's pretty rare. After all, in the past planets, it was rare to see such deep ice and snow. Not to mention that no one drives an excavator to work in the North Pole, all people use icebreakers. But after Zhang Yi thought about it carefully, he thought that this idea was absolutely feasible. The ice and snow have been accumulating for less than a month now, and the ice layer has not formed too hard, and it can be dug with an excavator. The ice and snow underground is at most a dozen meters, and he can break through the windows as long as he digs through the entrances such as doors and windows. So, it won't take much time feasible. Zhang Yi did what he said, and directly took out a large excavator from the different space boom. The nearly, ton excavator hit the ground heavily and sank more than 1 meter into it. Seeing this scene, Zhang Yi smiled lightly and said, "That's good, it saves me from digging down. After all, the snow on the surface is still relatively thin, and it can't bear this kind of weight at all. But the snow below should be thicker." It was Zhang Yi's first time driving an excavator, but it was not a big problem. When he worked in the warehouse before, he drove cranes, forklifts and large trucks. This thing is no problem. After a little thought, you will know how to drive it. Although I dare not say how good the technology is, at least it can be operated. Chapter 91 found a new way out. The operation method of the excavator is relatively simple, mainly 2 handles for pushing, and a control lever for controlling the bucket. Zhang Yi found the fuel tank, took out a barrel of diesel oil from the different space and poured it in. Then he got into the control room and turned the key. Boom. Fortunately, the low temperature has little effect on the new machinery, and this excavator can still be used normally. Zhang Yi manipulated the excavator and began to throw the snow in front of him to the sides. His speed was a bit slow at first, but gradually picked up speed. Half an hour later, a 3-meter deep pit had been dug, and even the tracks could move slowly. Fortunately, there are no wheels under the excavator. Zhang Yi even thinks that in special circumstances, this thing can be used as a transport vehicle. The speed is a bit slow, But the excavator's crawler is really no problem driving on the snow. This thing, even if it is a muddy beach, can be crushed. It is really amazing. Relying on his inexperienced skills, Zhang Yi worked hard for almost 2 hours, and finally dug a solid building. He was overjoyed, and hurriedly followed a building to throw the snowflakes up to the side. Only then did I slowly see the huge roof terrace of the gas station. It's easy to find the building of the gas station, and the next step is to follow this thing and clear the snow. Due to his lack of skills, Zhang Yi worked for 4 or 5 hours before digging into the convenience store window of the gas station. Fortunately, it was the excavator who dug it, not him, otherwise he would be absolutely exhausted. Zhang Yi got off the excavator and took it back into the different space. Then break the glass on the window and jump inside. When he arrived at the convenience store, he was also taken aback. The snow had broken through the door, and most of the space inside was filled with snow. Fortunately, the door behind can still be seen. Zhang Yi stepped on the snow. He needed to find a place to store oil first. The oil storage warehouses of gas stations are usually underground, which also avoids the risk of being buried by snow. It didn't take long for Zhang Yi to find the entrance to the oil storage room. Although the front of the gas station is quite large, the space behind it is actually very small, and it is not difficult to find an entrance. Zhang Yi used a crowbar to pry open the iron door and turned on the miner's lamp for lighting. The sight in front of him made him gasp. 4 huge oil storage tanks were placed in the oil storage room, with a capacity of almost 200 cubic meters of oil. At first glance it is still very spectacular. Zhang Yi thought about it for a while, then quietly retreated outside the door, and briefly removed the static electricity from his body before he dared to go in. At this time, the gas station had stopped operating, and it was pitch black inside. Zhang Yi turned on the miner's lamp and blocked the oil pipeline above. The mouth of the pipe is wrapped in many layers with plastic cloth and plastic wrap to avoid leakage. Then he put these 4 huge jars into his own different space. Normally speaking, with these 3 tanks of gasoline and 1 tank of diesel, he will not need to worry about refueling when driving in the future. Wait a minute. With a flash of inspiration, Zhang Yi suddenly realized a very important thing. If I can use an excavator to dig snow, doesn't it mean that I can also dig other places that are buried by snow? In this way, the whole world will become a huge treasure house in the future. Even my exclusive treasure house. Zhang Yi's brain was wide open at this time, and after realizing this, his heart was ecstatic. Under the heavy snow, there are still many good treasures buried. Good things, all good things. Zhang Yi has the bottom line in his heart, and he no longer needs to worry about the shortage of any items in the future. The whole world can be used by him. Zhang Yi climbed onto the snow surface along the road made by the excavator's crawler, and then stepped on the snowmobile. It's getting late, today's search ends here. He went to the supermarket in the Wanda Mall again, bought 2 bags of junk food and brought them back. As soon as the motorcycle appeared outside the community, many people lay on the windows and stared at him. Zhang Yi drove the car to the back of the unit building, pretended to put the car in the garage, and then returned to 25 with 2 bags of food. Without his order, all the neighbors had already appeared here. But Fang Yuqing didn't come this time. She seemed to have figured it out. It was impossible for Zhang Yi to give her any more food. But Lin Kaining did not give up, and still planned to come over and have a try. Zhang Yi didn't even look at her. Everyone worked hard to deal with those invaders yesterday. Today's food is a reward for you. Food distribution according to the rules we said before. He distributes food according to his contribution. Anyway, there is only so much food. Some people take more and others take less. In short, don't plan to eat a few bites for those who work less. Because of the incident with the sniper rifle, everyone was even more afraid of Zhang Yi, and dared not say anything more. Besides, they also knew that Zhang Yi killed the most enemies. Li Chengbin and Zhang Lei were not on duty last night, so they only got food for 1 person. The 1 person serving Zhang Yi said meant that he couldn't get enough to eat. There was disappointment on the faces of the 2 of them. Li Chengbin said to Zhang Yi, "Brother Zhang, we're just waiting for them to come over. I don't know how long it will take. You killed more than a dozen of them. I'm afraid they wouldn't dare to come here. If this goes on, how can we get rewards?" Young lads are easily impatient. Zhang Yi touched his nose and said with a light smile, "Opportunities are reserved for those who are prepared. I only said that if you kill an enemy, you will be rewarded with food for 5 people. But I didn't say that. You can only wait for them to come attack. Li Chengbin and Zhang Lei's eyes lit up. You mean, we can take the initiative? Then we kill people in other buildings. Can we use them in exchange for rewards? The two were very excited. They desperately need food, and in groups, there is a desire to show. I hope to prove my strength, and then become Zhang Yi's confidant, and follow Zhang Yi. Zhang Yi thought about it. So far, apart from the Cheyenne gang of 26, no one else has made a move against 25. But no one can guarantee what will happen in the future. Especially after Zhang Yi exposed his snowmobile, there must be more people in this community who are interested in him. Zhang Yi was moved by Zhang Lei and Li Chengbin's proposal. These people were recruited by Zhang Yi to be cannon fodder. If they want to die, then let them go. After all, these junk foods are not worth much to Zhang Yi. A smile of approval appeared on his face immediately. He nodded and said, "Of course. Now the outsiders are all enemies. Killing them will ensure the safety of our collective. No matter which building it is, people other than our building can be killed, and then they can be exchanged for rewards." That's what they said, but because of the low temperature and heavy snow outside, they could only pick a few nearby buildings to attack. The one who bears the brunt is naturally 26 from the Cheyenne gang next door. Li Chengbin and Zhang Lei cheered excitedly. The expressions of the others are different, and they don't know what they are thinking. But obviously some people are cognitive. After all, who doesn't wish they could get more food? Chapter 92. You will die if you don't save my grandson. After distributing the food, Lin Kaining quarreled again, but was beaten up badly by Zhang Lei and Li Chengbin, Zhang Yi's stewards. Then Zhang Yi asked them to go back separately. Zhou Qier walked beside him, took his arm and said in a low voice, "There is something wrong with the atmosphere in the community today." Zhang Yi pulled out his arm silently, and asked lightly, "Oh, what's going on?" Zhou Qier was slightly taken aback, and then realized that Zhang Yi didn't want his hands to be tied. It's okay at home, but outside, Zhang Yi really won't relax at all. She said, "I always feel that there are many eyes watching us, and this feeling is very strong." Zhang Yi smiled lightly. It's not surprising. The appearance of snowmobiles will inevitably arouse the jealousy of others. After all, this is the South, and this kind of transportation is extremely rare. With it, you can go out to find supplies, which means you can live. Who wouldn't want to live? Zhou Qier was a little worried. "Tell me, will people from other units attack too? I'm afraid it will be very dangerous then." Hearing these words, Zhang Yi looked around, and when he realized that there was no one, he lowered his voice and said, "Aren't there still a lot of cannon fodder? Besides, no matter how powerful they are, it will be harder than reaching the sky to break into a house." Zhou Qier laughed and said, "But if a person is pushed into a hurry, no one knows what he will do." Zhang Yi nodded. "What you said is also very reasonable." When the two were talking, Zhang Yi habitually looked around. After all, their conversations had better not be overheard by others. However, it was just this wait and see that he suddenly saw a black crack appearing at the end of his peripheral vision. At this time, he and Zhou Qier passed the 13th floor, and there was a gap in the iron door in the stairwell. A blood-red eyeball stared at him through the gap. Who is it? Zhang Yi's muscles tensed up immediately. Even though he was very courageous, this sudden incident still made him a little nervous. The door of the stairwell was pushed open with a bang. An unkempt woman rushed out screaming, and chopped off his head with a kitchen knife covered in blood. "What?" Zhou Qier screamed in fright. Zhang Yi quickly pushed Zhou Qier sideways hard, and due to the reaction force, his own body also fell to the side. The knife fell through the air and did not cut anyone. But the woman went crazy and continued to strike at Zhang Yi with a knife. Who knew that Zhang Yi would roll down, directly down the stairs? Anyway, the clothes are thick, and there are bulletproof vests inside, so I am not afraid of hurting myself. After rolling several flights of stairs, Zhang Yi's body stabilized. At this time, he saw clearly who the woman was, and it turned out to be Aunt Lin, who had disappeared for a long time. Aunt Lin persisted, raised her kitchen knife, and chased after her with bloodshot eyes. "Zhang Yi, I want you to pay for my grandson's life." "Damn old thing." Zhang Yi has stabilized his mind, took out a thick and long crowbar from the different space with his right hand, and smashed it directly on the head. The width of the stairs is very narrow, and Aunt Lin has no room to hide. There was no chance of her small kitchen knife touching Zhang Yi. Facing the crowbar, she dodged instinctively. The crowbar didn't hide her head, but her shoulder. Crack! Hearing the sound of bones breaking, Zhang Yi couldn't help smashing this old arm and leg. Aunt Lin was knocked over on the stairs all at once, and she lost all strength to resist. Even so, she was still holding the blood-stained kitchen knife tightly in her hand, and stared at Zhang Yi viciously. Kill you. Avenge my grandson. Zhang Yi looked down at her coldly, then raised the crowbar and smashed it hard on her hand. Not to mention, the human body is really fragile in cold weather. With the impact, all 3 of her fingers were blown away, and the kitchen knife fell to the ground with a bang. What? Her screams echoed in the stairs. The patrol team heard the movement and hurried over to check. Seeing that it was Zhang Yi and Aunt Lin, they couldn't help asking, "Brother Zhang, what's going on?" Zhang Yi said coldly, "This old woman wants to kill me." When several people heard the words, they immediately cursed, "This old woman really deserves to die. Brother Zhang is the hope of our entire building now. She even wants to kill you, so let's just kill her. She's gone crazy, and she'll be troublesome sooner or later." Aunt Lin has indeed gone crazy for a long time. She was talking crazy in the group all day long. Zhang Yi said, "Go back, I will take care of things here." Several people did not dare to disobey Zhang Yi's intention, and left here obediently. Zhou Qier stood on the stairs, covered her mouth with her hands, and looked at Zhang Yi worriedly. "Zhang Yi, are you not injured?" Zhang Yi pointed at Aunt Lin's head, and said coldly, "Just because she can't hurt me." Aunt Lin raised her head stubbornly, and looked at Zhang Yi with resentful eyes. "Zhang Yi, you should die. You should die. It was you who killed my grandson. If you die, you will definitely go to the 18th floor of hell." Zhang Yi was not in a hurry to act. Instead, he asked flatly, "I didn't kill your grandson, why did you come to seek revenge from me?" The timing of Aunt Lin's shot was very ingenious. Apparently she had planned it all along. Knowing that Zhang Yi was coming back at this time, she hid behind the door and waited for the opportunity to sneak attack. And Zhang Yi was also talking to Zhou Qier, and was slightly distracted, so he gave her a chance. Otherwise, with Zhang Yi's caution, it is impossible not to notice the problem of the crack in the door. At this time, Zhang Yi wanted to ask this crazy woman, why did she do it to herself? Aunt Lin glared at Zhang Yi viciously, gnashing her teeth, spitting all over the place, like a crazy bitch. "My grandson was killed by you. You deserve to die, you deserve death. I can't wait to drink your blood, eat your flesh, and bite you to death bit by bit." Zhang Yi's expression remained calm. "However, I don't remember killing your grandson. Strictly speaking, I'm still your benefactor. Because Chen Zhangheo's people kicked your grandson to death, and I killed Chen Zhangheo for you. You should thank me." Aunt Lin froze for a moment. Immediately, she became even more angry, because she found out that what Zhang Yi said made sense. But how could a woman, especially an unreasonable one, admit that she was wrong? "You don't pretend to be a good person here. My grandson was not dead at the time, but later died of pain because there was no medical treatment. It's you who refused to lend me the medicine that made him die. You are the culprit." Aunt Lin cursed, spit flying all over the place. Her eyeballs became redder because of the bloodshot. Like a ferocious evil ghost. Chapter 93. Zhang Yi now figured out the cause and effect. "Oh, that's how it is. That's how you understand it." He nodded. "However, is there a misunderstanding in this matter?" He looked down at Aunt Lin and met her hateful eyes. Then Zhang Yi lowered his tone, and said quietly, "Actually, I am the most hard-spoken and soft-hearted person. How could I have the heart to watch a child die of pain? So later, I went to your house to deliver medicine." Aunt Lin's eyes widened. "You're talking nonsense." No, I'm really not talking nonsense. I've been to your house, think about it carefully. Oh, by the way, you were too focused at the time, and you might have forgotten it." There was a trace of regret in Zhang Yi's eyes. "Because when I passed by, you were busy eating. To be exact, you were eating something. Your grandson Lin Xiao, who was not dead at that time. As long as he takes my medicine, he can live well. But I don't know why, when I went there that day, I found that you had cut him alive." Zhang Yi's eyes became dim, and his tone was extremely indifferent. Aunt Lin's spirit was abnormal. Hearing Zhang Yi's words at this moment, his mind became even more confused. There was a flicker of panic in her eyes. Because she remembered that after Lin Xiaohu's death, in order to survive, she really had to take care of him. "No, it's impossible. Xiaohu was already dead at that time, and you killed him." Zhang Yi laughed loudly, pointed at Zhou Qier and said, If you don't believe me, you can ask Dr. Zhou. Is Lin Xiaohu still alive? Aunt Lin turned her head blankly, looking at Zhou Qier on the steps. When Zhou Qier saw Zhang Yi's serious smile, he couldn't help but feel a chill in his heart. No wonder Zhang Yi didn't kill Aunt Lin directly, instead he talked with her for so long. It turned out that he not only wanted Aunt Lin to die, but also murdered her, causing her to die in extreme pain. Zhou Qier looked down at Aunt Lin, and nodded slowly. That's right, Lin Xiaohu actually has a chance to be saved. It was Zhang Yi who I contacted at the time, and he agreed to send the medicine there. But you didn't wait for him to pass, and you mistakenly thought that Lin Xiaohu was dead, and you gave him who was still alive. Zhou Qier didn't say the last few words, she also felt quite disgusted. After all, Aunt Lin flaunts how much she loves her grandson every day. But what happened in the end? In order to survive, she even dared to speak to Lin Xiaohu. This has exceeded the bottom line of being a human being, not even pigs and dogs. Aunt Lin covered her face in despair and howled in pain. No, that's impossible. No, I didn't know he was alive. I thought he was dead. She waited for a long time until she couldn't take it anymore before she took the knife. At first, she told herself, just eat a little bit is fine. But later on, she became more and more hungry. After eating meat, the satisfaction brought by the feeling of fullness made her appetite even stronger. Until later, she gnawed every bone of Lin Xiaohu. Zhang Yi suddenly raised his voice and said loudly, ha, so it is like this. This is the good grandma of the Lin family, who cruelly hacked her living grandson to death for a bite to eat. How about it? Your grandson's taste is very good, right? You really love him. Your son and daughter-in-law entrusted their grandson to you. Are you worthy of them? Aunt Lin's eyes were lax. She clutched her head and howled in pain. No, it's not like that. It's not like that. Yes. It's not like this. It's not like this. Yes. You did it. Aunt Lin wailed in pain and despair. Zhang Yi smiled at the side and made up for her. Zhou Qier felt his hair stand on end. People like Zhang Yi, don't even provoke them. He was a terrible torturer. What? Aunt Lin suddenly yelled, and slammed her head hard at the wall. She has completely collapsed and lost hope of living. Death is the best relief for her. But at the critical moment, Zhang Yi was a good man. He is so kind, how can he bear to watch his neighbor die in front of him? Zhang Yi shouted, no. Then kicked Aunt Lin and flew out. Boom. Aunt Lin stepped aside, then rolled directly down the stairs to the next floor. Zhang Yi said earnestly, Aunt Lin, you have to look forward to being a human being, so don't let yourself get overwhelmed. After all, he said with a deeper smile, you sacrificed your grandson to survive. You are dead, how will you face your big family? Aunt Lin vomited blood in her mouth at this time, and she couldn't speak, but her eyes were full of prayers for Zhang Yi. Stop talking, please, stop talking. At this time, neighbors on several floors nearby heard the movement and rushed over to watch the excitement. Zhang Yi pointed at Aunt Lin, and said loudly, everyone, come and see, Aunt Lin is going to commit suicide if she thinks about it. In order to survive, she killed her grandson Lin Xiaohu, and even ate him up. This is a woman with such a strong desire to survive. After the neighbors heard this sentence, their eyes showed extremely disgusted expressions. Even if some people did something to the corpse in order to survive. However, no one can do such a thing to their own relatives, that is their last moral bottom line. Aunt Lin was stared at by these gazes, and her mental breakdown became even worse. Blood was spit out from her mouth, and her eyes were full of struggle and pain. She won't live long, she will freeze to death in half an hour at most. Zhou Qier walked up to Zhang Yi and said to him. Those few blows by Zhang Yi were all heavy hands, and her internal organs were ruptured. Freeze to death? Zhang Yi frowned. How can you be so cruel? It's such a cold weather and let her freeze to death. I can't stand this kind of thing. The neighbors looked at Zhang Yi in surprise. Could it be that Zhang Yi wants to let Aunt Lin go? Only Zhou Qier, who knew Zhang Yi well, glanced at him helplessly. What do you want to do? Zhang Yiqing sighed. Hey, life is not easy for the old man, let her be warm before she dies. He reached into his clothes and pretended to dig out something, but actually took out a bottle of alcohol from a different dimension. Unscrewing the bottle cap, wow, sprinkled on Aunt Lin's body. Seeing this scene, the neighbors understood what Zhang Yi wanted to do. While speechless, he felt that this was very reasonable. After all, this person was Zhang Yi. When did you ever see him show mercy? After the bottle of alcohol was poured, Zhang Yi stepped back quickly, lit a cigarette with a lighter, took 2 puffs, and threw it away suddenly. The flames blazed up in an instant. Soon, there were extremely shrill screams in the stairwell. Zhang Yi turned around and walked back without taking a second look. The other neighbors were frightened and hurriedly made way for Zhang Yi, their eyes full of fear. Chapter 94 Number 9. After Zhang Yi and Zhou Qi'er returned to the room, they took off their winter clothes, sat on the sofa, and cursed fiercely, "This damn crazy woman." He was lying on the sofa with a big face. Zhou Qi'er walked into the bathroom, and brought out a basin of hot water after a while. She smiled and knelt in front of Zhang Yi, helped him take off the cotton socks on his feet, and then washed his feet with her own hands. She asked softly, "Did you get a big jump just now?" Zhang Yi leaned on the sofa and said leisurely, "It's actually okay. Since the end of the world, I have never been too surprised by anything. In the age of chaos, all kinds of absurd things are possible." He was wearing a police body armor. Unless the old woman was an agile killer who could accurately cut his neck, she would not be able to hurt him. But Zhang Yi is not a piece of wood, so he will naturally hide. "Did anything happen in the community while I was away? Especially in other unit buildings, is there any movement?" Zhou Qi'er nodded slowly upon hearing this. "I was going to talk to you just now." Zhang Yi sat up slightly, with curiosity and caution in his eyes. "Oh, what happened?" Zhou Qi'er helped Zhang Yi massage the soles of his feet, and said calmly, "Over there at 9, the person in charge now is my former patient named Chen Lingyu. She contacted me today, hoping that I would match you up and let you pass her friend application. Then she said she wanted to talk to you about something." Zhang Yi frowned slightly. 9, Chen Lingyu? It was a name he was unfamiliar with. And even though they are all in the same community, the Yulu community is very large, about 500 meters from the north to the south. The 25 and 9 where he is located are equivalent to the village from the beginning to the end of the village, and there is no chance to contact them on weekdays. "What does she want to talk to me about?" Zhang Yi asked. Zhou Qi'er shook her head. "She just said that she wanted to talk to the building director of 25 about the cooperation. But the specific details must be discussed by you." Zhang Yi sneered. "Cooperation? Shit cooperation. Now I don't lack anything, but they can only wait to die in the building. How can I cooperate with you?" Zhou Qi'er raised her head, with a light smile on the corner of her mouth. "Then let me tell her, you don't want to talk to her?" Zhang Yi waved his hand. "There is no need to be so anxious. Tell me, how is she like? And the specific situation in their building." Zhou Qi'er told Zhang Yi the information he had learned. Chen Lingyu is the owner of a beauty and cosmetics company in Xianhe City with a valuation of, million. It is said to be a beauty and cosmetics company, but it is actually a micro-business enterprise. Chen Lingyu is 38 years old, with good looks and a strong personality. She is a capable and strong woman. She met Zhou Qi'er, which was the opportunity to go to the #1 civilian hospital to see a doctor. The relationship with Zhou Qi'er is mediocre. At best they are nodding acquaintances. As for her 9, it is now controlled by her and her subordinates. According to the information Zhou Qi'er inquired, 9 is currently managed very well, and only 10 people have died until now. After Zhang Yi finished listening, he squeezed his fingers, nodded and said, "At this moment, a woman can actually manage a building. This Chen Lingyu is really talented." Zhou Qi'er also sighed lightly. "Yet, after all, it's a micro-business pyramid scheme. So of course it's a skill to brainwash others." Zhang Yi chuckled lightly and said, "This is a ruthless person. If you are really ruthless, you can deny your relatives, even your parents and relatives. Don't be careless with this kind of woman." Zhou Qi'er nodded. "I don't have a good impression of her. I haven't contacted her for a long time. I found me suddenly today and asked me to help her pass the news." Zhang Yi said, "This is not surprising. Now I own a snowmobile and the news that I can go out to collect supplies has already spread. In the whole neighborhood, who doesn't envy me? Who doesn't want my snowmobile?" Zhou Qi'er nodded. "In that case, do you still want to talk to her?" Zhang Yi put his hand under his chin and thought for a few minutes. "Let's talk about it. I also want to know what other units are thinking about now. At the very least, I can't make those people anxious all at once. Otherwise, the people in the other 29 buildings will turn against me, and that's not a good thing. If Zhang Yi just hides in the house and does not go out, there is no need to be afraid of them. But now, Zhang Yi knows that the outside world is a huge treasure, and he needs to go out and continue to collect various survival materials in the future. Then for the time being, I can't fall out with the people in the other 29 buildings. So, while enjoying Jokir's delicate massage, Zhang Yi opened his WeChat. All the above friend applications are 99 plus, and he has been too lazy to look at them. After all, the people who are looking for him are basically asking for supplies, so he is too lazy to answer. Opening the friend application list, the first thing Zhang Yi saw was Chen Linggao, president of a Furin group. Women's suits and white shirts, with hands folded on the chest to look deep, with an exaggerated smile on the face, a standard WeChat business profile picture. When Zhang Yi was about to pass his friend, he suddenly noticed a slightly familiar head portrait below. The WeChat avatars used by business people are basically personal photos. So Zhang Yi immediately recognized who that person was. Li Jian, Chief Financial Officer of Walmart South China region. The reason why I know him is because I saw him on stage during the company's annual meeting before. Zhang Yi also knew that he lived in the same community as himself, but the two of them did not work together, so they had no connection. Zhang Yi glanced at the time when he applied for a friend. It was 10, this morning. It was not long after he had just left the community. It seems that he came to me for the same thing. Zhang Yi knew something in his heart. After a little thought, he simply approved both of their friend applications at the same time. Take a look at what each of these two people talked to him, and use this to judge how to deal with the other 29 people. As soon as his friend application was approved, the other side responded almost instantly. Mr. Zhang Yi, hello. I am Chen Linggao from 9, and I am currently in charge of the management of 9. I want to chat with you. Hi, Mr. Zhang, I'm Li Jian from 18. Thank you for passing my friend application. On behalf of the residents of 18, I would like to chat with you about cooperation. Zhang Yi first opened Chen Linggao's chat box. What do you want to talk about? Chen Linggao replied immediately, it's not convenient to talk like this, can I make a voice call? No, it's not convenient for me, so let's talk like this. Zhang Yi said coldly. He is very familiar with women who do WeChat business, their mouths are like machine guns, and they can chat endlessly for 3 days and 3 nights if given a chance. What's the matter? Just say it simply and directly. I am impatient and don't like to talk nonsense. Chapter 95 on Cooperation and Attitude. Zhang Yi first gave Chen Linggao a slap in the face, letting Chen Linggao know that he is not easy to mess with. 9. Chen Linggao stood and paced back and forth in the room. Not because of nervousness, but because it's too cold, and 2 extra steps can make you feel warmer. She wore many layers of clothes, but she seemed to try her best to look elegant. She even put on a coat with a fox fur scarf on the outermost part. After receiving Zhang Yi's cold news, she took a deep breath and said to herself, he is indeed a powerful person. Don't be careless. Facing Zhang Yi, Chen Linggao was actually very nervous, even afraid. After all, Zhang Yi's deeds have already spread. With just one person, he killed half of the neighbors in the entire building. And there are a lot of weapons in his hand, and there are even scary things like sniper rifles. All kinds of rumors make people in other buildings who have heard Zhang Yi's story deeply afraid of him. Chen Linggao calmed down, and typed out the words that had been drafted countless times in her mind one by one. Mr. Zhang Yi, I have known you for a long time. We have heard about your story for a long time, and we have always hoped to meet you. Now that you have a snowmobile, you can go out to find supplies. So we number 9 hope to cooperate with you. Zhang Yi glanced at it and smiled contemptuously. Cooperation? Then what can you offer me? Cooperation is about reciprocal exchange of conditions, you should understand. Chen Linggao immediately said, our 9 is relatively harmonious, and not too many people died. So we have plenty of manpower. Now that you have a snowmobile in your hands, you can leave the community and go outside to develop. When Chen Linggao said this, she became excited. We can give you the 76ers, those are the best workforce. It snowed outside, and it seems that order has been lost. In other words, whoever gets what is buried in the snow and ice in this world will get it. You have vehicles and weapons, and I have family members who obey orders and obey orders. As long as we work together, we will surely achieve great things in the future. Zhang Yi picked out his ears. It sounds bluffing, but it's all fake stuff. Let me ask you, now so many people don't even know how to live tomorrow, what are you doing? Chen Linggao swallowed her saliva. Of course, this requires you to help us collect food and protect our lives first. Then no matter what project you want to do, our people are the best workforce. Zhang Yi shook his head, losing interest. A leader who engages in pyramid schemes, it's okay to deceive those stupid business owners who are in desperate situations, but isn't it boring to deceive yourself? He didn't even bother typing, so he sent a paragraph by voice. I'm not interested in what you said, goodbye. After hearing Zhang Yi's words, Chen Lingyu became a little anxious. She gritted her teeth and quickly sent a message. You have now become the envy of the entire community. You only need to provide us with food. At least we can maintain our neutrality towards you. You don't want us to be your enemies, do you? After seeing this sentence, Zhang Yi's face became slightly serious. This is what he wants to hear. Why talk so much useless? These damned wetshit merchants. Oh, so many people in the apartment building want to attack me? Why don't I believe it? Now that I'm living a good life, no one will attack me. Zhang Yi asked tentatively. Chen Lingyu knew that Zhang Yi was testing. But in order to express her sincerity, she had to reveal some information. Zhang Yi, you are a smart person, you should understand the truth of the crime of being pregnant. There are thousands of people living in the whole community, and everyone can only wait in the house to starve to death. Only you can go out on a snowmobile to find food. If it were you, wouldn't you be envious and jealous? The reason why everyone didn't make a move was just weighing the pros and cons, but it's just a matter of time before you make a move. I don't ask much. As long as you can guarantee our basic food needs, the people in our building will never shoot you. Hearing this sentence, Zhang Yi narrowed his eyes slightly. In a sense, this is a threat. Oh? You mean, if I don't agree, you 9 will attack our 25, right? Zhang Yi's voice was very cold and full of killing intent. Chen Lingyu couldn't help but tremble, but soon she said forcefully, I believe you will not choose to do this. If you are our enemy, even if you win, it will not do any good. The reason why she is so calm is also because the distance between 25 and 9 is relatively far. If Zhang Yi wanted to lead someone to attack, it would be like cutting off the way back. Moreover, there is a possibility of being attacked by people from other units. We just need some food, nothing else. And relying on my ability and your force, it will not be a problem for us to rule the entire community in the future. Chen Lingyu said excitedly. The smile on the corner of Zhang Yi's mouth was a little contemptuous. It's the first time I've seen someone who can ask for food so confidently. Chen Lingyu gasped in anger. This is cooperation. Zhang Yi replied lightly, let me think about it and give you an answer later. After speaking, he didn't want to continue chatting with Chen Lingyu, so he closed the chat box. Zhang Yi put the phone on his lap and began to think about what would happen next. Zhang Yi didn't care about Chen Lingyu. It's just a 9. If you want to fight with him, no matter how many people there are, it's not a problem. They didn't even know how many guns and bullets Zhang Yi had in his hand. If they really came to fight, Zhang Yi would be able to wipe them all out with an assault rifle alone, relying on his supernatural ability of precise shooting. However, the problem is that in this community, Chen Lingyu must be more than one person who has such an idea. In the other 29 units, everyone is coveting his snowmobile. Even those who are a little impatient, and those who are running out of supplies, do not hesitate to come and fight with him. If they were to unite and attack 25 at the same time, Zhang Yi would have to kill until his hands were sore. Zhang Yi looked up at his safe house. The shell made of aerospace alloy can withstand the bombardment of shells. Even if people from the entire community attack, they will definitely not be able to break through. Unless those people can demolish the 25 building, there is basically no threat to Zhang Yi. How likely is that? Zhang Yi frowned and thought about this question. If people from the 29 unit buildings really shot together, there is a real probability that this thing will happen. The current electricity does not allow the use of high-power appliances. They wouldn't be able to use equipment like impact hammers and power drills. If you want to destroy a building completely by hand, it is absolutely impossible to do it under the current ultra-low temperature and the extreme lack of food to provide energy. After all, with their current level of physical strength, they might be too cold to stand outside for a while. How can they still have the strength to smash the wall? If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 96. Do you want to kill them all? After Zhang Yi thought about it, he got a satisfactory answer. That is, as long as he sticks to 25 and does not go out, using the firepower in his hands and the strength of the safe house, even the people from the other 29 buildings can't do anything to him. To put it bluntly, in today's situation where food is extremely scarce and the temperature is extremely cold, it is a huge torment for a person to go out and take 2 steps against a biting cold wind. 20 people can't do what one person used to do. My personal safety is not a problem. No matter how bad it is, I can get out of the siege on a motorcycle and use the weapons in my hand to fight guerrilla warfare with them, and I can slowly consume them to death. It's just that it's too troublesome to do so. When will I have to kill the people in Building 29? But if I don't kill them, they will definitely come and attack me. Zhang Yi pondered carefully in his heart. Should he spend some time and energy to kill all the people in the community who are a threat to him, or should he find another way? In a short time, Zhang Yi didn't make up his mind. He glanced at his phone and decided to have a chat with Li Jian as well. He has to see if all the landlords think this way. Zhang Yi opened the chat box with Li Jian. He ignored Li Jian, but Li Jian took the initiative to introduce their situation to Zhang Yi. Mr. Zhang, I am here with sincerity, and I hope to cooperate with you to build a harmonious home, a doomsday utopia. So far in our 18, only 5 elderly people have died, and they died of complications caused by extremely cold temperatures. Everyone distributes materials through reasonable planning and gets along very harmoniously. I think this is the best way to survive in the last days. It preserves the fire for human civilization. It is also conducive to the reconstruction work after the snow disaster. Now, we lack effective food sources. Because we hope to cooperate with you, as a price, we can provide manpower and material resources to meet your requirements as much as possible. And it can coordinate the relationship with other unit buildings for you to avoid conflicts. Zhang Yi felt much more comfortable after seeing Li Jian's introduction. As expected of the chief financial officer of a large group, his EQ is much higher than that of Chen Linggao, who is a micro-businessman. The organization is clear, the statement of interests is concise, and the tone of speech is neither humble nor overbearing. But what Zhang Yi cares most about is the harmonious homeland he mentioned. It has been more than 20 days since the end of the day, and none of them died in the conflict. Zhang Yi looked at Zhou Qier, who was pinching his feet. Qier, do you know anything about the situation at 18? Zhou Qier thought for a while and said, I've heard of some. It is said that the building manager of their building is a very charismatic person. After the end of the world, he united all the residents and adopted a unified distribution of materials, so that most people, some of them are alive today. Zhang Yi sighed. As expected of a chief financial officer, management accountants not only need to know how to manage, but also need to know how to maximize profits. In fact, Li Jian's approach is the most reasonable. In other buildings, such as the 25 where Zhang Yi is located, a lot of materials were wasted due to conflicts and internal friction. Theoretically, if a person does not exercise, including mental exercise, the energy consumed in a day is very small, and only one meal is enough. Li Jian, he is a talent. Zhang Yi sighed with emotion, but then said, but it is still impossible to survive for a long time in the end times. Li Jian's ability lies in establishing order. Through his influence in 18, he united everyone early. However, what should you do if you face an attack from the outside world? The group of people who are used to being comfortable, if they meet villains like Xian Gang or Chen Zhenghao, they will probably only be slaughtered. This is the same reason that the ancient Central Plains civilization lost to nomadic civilization many times. Without the protection of force, all stability and harmony are false. Zhang Yi asked, if I disagree, what will you do? Li Jian thought for a long time before replying to Zhang Yi. In the spirit of friendship and cooperation, we extend an invitation to you for cooperation. I am deeply sorry if you refuse. But this does not mean that your thoughts will not change in the future, and I am still looking forward to the next opportunity to cooperate. Zhang Yi smiled. This official way of reply looks very comfortable. Why don't you choose to attack R25? Or don't you choose to join when other units attack? Li Jian's reply was also very frank. Our military force is only used for self-protection, and we will not take the initiative to attack others. It's not that we don't have strength, but because of useless internal friction, the final result can only be a loss for both sides. Zhang Yi wanted to applaud him. Look at him, he is obviously cowardly, but he wants to say it so righteously. Then again, the harmonious homeland of 18 spent half a month in the last days in a peaceful way, and Indy did not have the courage to fight with others. Li Jian is a sensible person. He also knew that if Zhang Yi really got into a fight with others, they would not get much benefit even if they passed. It's better to sit on the mountain and watch the tiger fight. In case Zhang Yi loses and the snowmobile falls into the hands of other people, he can still find other people to cooperate. Wait for my answer. After Zhang Yi sent this message, he went to the friend application list to find other people. Before, because there were too many people who wanted to be friends with him and asked for supplies, he ignored all friend applications. But now it seems that everyone in the whole community and every building wants to talk to him and ask him to help collect supplies. Sure enough, Zhang Yi added the heads of several floors later. What they expressed was almost the same as that of Chen Lingao and Li Jian. They all hoped to cooperate with Zhang Yi, and then ask Zhang Yi to help them collect supplies to keep them alive. However, the conditions they can give are extremely limited. Only labor, women, and commitments don't get in trouble when they collide. The difference is just a good attitude and a bad attitude, nothing more. Zhang Yi lay on the sofa, looked up at the ceiling, and whispered, "There are only two choices now, war or peace. War, then I have to kill all those who threaten me. It's not impossible to do this, it just takes too much time and ammunition. To kill a large number of residents in the 30 buildings in the entire community, the ammunition I stored will be exhausted. The ammunition reserves I obtained from the police station are not too much. Just over 1,000 rounds. This is still an ideal consideration. I can kill them all when they come to attack, but if they hide in the building and cannot come out, I dare not venture in. What's more, although I don't have any psychological shadow on killing people, but I'm not a perverted butcher. Most people in the community don't have much hatred against me. It would be a little bit unbearable to kill them all. Maybe I'll make myself mentally troubled by then." Zhang Yi rubbed his temples. He felt that killing the entire neighborhood was not a good option. That was too much trouble. Chapter 97. Listening to Zhang Yi's muttering, Zhou Qi'er felt terrified. At this time, no one in the whole community knew that they were all jumping around crazily on the edge of the entrance to hell. Death or life is in Zhang Yi's thought. Fortunately, I chose to follow him. Zhou Qi'er was extremely grateful. Suddenly, Zhang Yi looked at Zhou Qi'er, who was kneeling in front of him, and patted his thigh. "Come here." Zhou Qi'er came over and sat on his lap. The temperature in the room is very high, so when we are at home, the two of us usually wear pajamas, sometimes just underwear. Zhou Qi'er didn't bring any clothes, Zhang Yi chose them all for her. So the style of dressing is naturally how Zhang Yi likes it. For example, the one she is wearing now is a set of black lace pajamas, the sexy one. Under the thin clothes, a white belly and a large area of delicate snow-white fat were exposed. The fabric underneath is even less outrageous, it can barely cover up. She was sitting on Zhang Yi's lap, and the touch brought by her buttocks that had been exercised just right also made Zhang Yi happy physically and mentally. Zhang Yi hugged her slender waist and bit her ear, which immediately made Zhou Qi'er's face flushed and her breathing became short of breath. "Tell me, from your point of view, should I fight them or make peace?" Zhou Qi'er originally thought that Zhang Yi wanted to do business. Unexpectedly, he actually asked for his own opinion. Of course, this is another matter. She felt a little regretful, but she was happy that Zhang Yi was willing to ask her opinion. Zhou Qi'er rolled her eyes and said to Zhang Yi, "If you are fighting, you will be able to withstand the attacks of the residents of the other 29 buildings at the same time?" "Well, no problem," Zhang Yi said confidently. In fact, he was a little guilty because he was only 99.99% sure, but there was still 0.01% he was not sure about. After all, he can't guarantee that no one in the other 29 buildings has hidden explosives that can blow up a building at home. But this kind of probability is similar to the probability of hitting his house when the H bounces off the world. "I can't help it when I meet you." Zhang Yi didn't think about it. Zhou Qi'er's eyes were filled with the word surprise. She thought Zhang Yi would say that it couldn't be done, but she didn't expect Zhang Yi to give an affirmative answer. After all, Zhang Yi never told her how many weapons and supplies Zhang Yi had on hand. But Zhou Qi'er thought about it again. Zhang Yi is a person with supernatural powers, and anything is possible for him. She took a deep breath and continued to ask, "If it is a peace talk, will you have to provide the living materials of everyone in the entire community in the future?" Zhang Yi laughed out loud. According to what they mean, that is indeed the case. Zhou Qier immediately said, of course not. In the entire community, even if the number of survivors in each building is calculated as 50, there are still 1,500 people. If you want to manage the food and drink of so many people, you don't know how much supplies you need. Putting it all on you alone is simply too difficult for others. Zhang Yi waved his hand. That's not how the account is calculated. When they put forward the conditions, they naturally said that they were higher, and then waited for me to come and bargain. And don't take this group of people as really good stuff. But anyone who can control a building must have his own small group. They have supplies, and they are also the ones who give priority to themselves. A deep light flashed in Zhang Yi's eyes. As for the others, they're all food reserves. Is it necessary for them to waste food on the food reserves? Zhou Qier felt that what Zhang Yi said made sense and nodded. Even so, it is a huge trouble for you to provide the materials for 30 buildings by yourself. Zhang Yi smiled and nodded. Well, that's right. So I have to get out of this trouble. Either kill them all, it's a tortuous and cumbersome process, and maybe a little bit dangerous. After all, when the time comes, I'll have to leave the house and go out and play with them. He rubbed his head. You said, is there any way I don't need to bother to kill them all? Can I get rid of this group of troubles? Zhou Qier bowed his head in deep thought. Zhang Yi massaged her fatty layer to help her think. After a long time, Zhou Qier said helplessly, there is no solution to this problem. You are their only hope. If you don't help them, they will definitely come and kill you. There is another theory, but it's not realistic. Zhang Yi frowned slightly. Oh? What do you say? Zhou Qier smiled and said, it's shameful to escape, but it's useful. You leave this community and live in another place. Isn't it enough to get rid of them? Zhang Yi stared at Zhou Qier with wide eyes. At first, he thought Zhou Qier's statement was very funny, even inexplicable. The safe house he managed to build allowed him to leave the community? But suddenly, another idea popped into my mind. Can you collect the safe house into your own space and take it away? Zhang Yi also tried to collect large items, but the collected items must meet one condition: independent existence. His safe house is integrated into the frame of the building, to be taken away unless dismantled. But how? What to use to dismantle it? If it could be demolished, I believe his bastard neighbors would have demolished it long ago. Although this idea is bold and extremely difficult to realize, it makes Zhang Yi feel refreshed. Maybe in the future, if you have the conditions, you can try it. At the moment, though, that's clearly not a valid option. Seeing Zhang Yi's serious thinking expression, Zhou Qier couldn't help laughing and said, I'm just talking casually, don't you take it seriously? Zhang Yi looked at her, smiled and squeezed her firm. Then tell me, what should I do? Zhou Qier pouted, I don't know either. Zhang Yi's eyes were deep. Then don't worry, let's talk later. Anyway, time is on our side, and I have the advantage. The only thing that could make Zhang Yi feel a little troublesome now is the fact that the other 29 buildings are united. But in the last days, people are fighting each other. Within a community, there are 30 buildings, each of which has given birth to groups of various types of civilizations. Zhang Yi, the Cheyenne Gang, and the Wild Wolf Gang used force and killing to forcibly gain rule. Chen Lingai is a person who controls a building through brainwashing and hypnosis. Li Jian created a harmonious homeland without fighting through scientific management. With so many organizations, the thinking is not on the same level at all. And they have to be wary of each other, they may become enemies at any time. It is not so easy for them to unite. Zhang Yi intends to continue to observe and see their movements before deciding what to do. Anyway, the initiative is in his hands. At the level of force, with a lot of heart weapons and the blessing of precise shooting ability, he is not afraid of group battles. Chapter 98 Li Wei. Zhang Yi made up his mind, let's wait and see what happens. But he also knew that those people must be impatient and wanted to deal with him. Therefore, in the recent period, special attention should be paid to security issues. He has a police helmet on his head and body armor protection. Zhang Yi looked at his legs and couldn't help frowning. There are bulletproof vests, but no bulletproof pants. After thinking about it for a while, Zhang Yi had an idea. He took out a body armor from the different space and handed it to Zhou Qier. Is this for me? Zhou Qier asked happily. Pick out its thread for me, I want to use it. Zhang Yi said. Zhou Qier curled her mouth, a little disappointed, but still took the body armor obediently, and cut the threads on both sides with scissors. The thread of the body armor is also very tough. After all, it is a special material used to withstand huge impacts. It took Zhang Yi a lot of effort to take apart the body armor. Now, the body armor becomes two pieces of fabric, the front and the back. Zhang Yi took it over, gestured on his leg, and nodded in satisfaction. Wrap it around your legs and put on a cold jacket outside. Isn't this bulletproof pants? There are also large arteries on the legs, so don't be careless. After preparing the equipment, Zhang Yi thought for a while, and felt that the neighbors in the building should not be too comfortable. It is necessary to give them some sense of crisis, and then fool them to take the initiative to go out and find someone to fight. After all, Zhang Yi organized them as cannon fodder, not as a foster father. The other building sent him a signal, and he had to do something in response. Therefore, Zhang Yi sent a message in the owner group, telling everyone about the current situation. Brothers and sisters of At-25, family members. Now we have encountered a major crisis, and someone is coming to snatch our food. Some nearby unit buildings were jealous that I could go out and help everyone find food, so they threatened me. They claimed that if I didn't distribute food to them, they would attack our unit building. As soon as these words were spoken, a pot exploded in the owner group. The neighbors have just seen the hope of survival, and now they point Zhang Yi out every day and bring back some food to keep them alive. Now other buildings are jealous and want to come and snatch it. Of course they don't agree. Fuck, what are these bastards thinking? Go out and find it yourself if you have the ability. Fight against them, and swear to protect our food to the death. It is impossible to give them a grain of rice. Yes, anyway, we have Zhang Yi here. If we really fight, we will be afraid that they will fail. However, concerns have also been raised. However, there are only 40 people in our building. If other buildings come to attack us, can we really hold it? This is indeed somewhat difficult. Then can you discuss with them and tell them not to mess with us? Do you think it's possible? Now that everyone is desperate for food, who will reason with you? Then what should we do? It's over. If you don't have food, you're dead. The neighbors are very noisy. They were filled with righteous indignation, but most of them were also filled with fear. If we really fight against other units in the whole community, wouldn't we have to beat more than 1,000 people? What is the difference between that and courting death? Zhang Yi sent a message in time. Everyone knows the current situation outside. The heavy snow has submerged all kinds of low-rise buildings, including most of the supermarkets. So finding supplies is also a very difficult thing. It depends on luck. There are thousands of people outside. If you really want to give them food, then you all will have nothing to eat. Zhang Yi, don't want to offend them. Anyway, my own supplies are enough for a few days. So I'll leave it to you to decide what to do. Whether you keep the food for yourself, or give it to them in exchange for stability. You have the final say. The multiple choice questions given by Zhang Yi are like pointing a gun at a person's head and asking him whether he wants to die or live. In fact, there is no choice at all. When the neighbors heard Zhang Yi's words, they also knew that they had no way out. Without food, they must still be dead. If you fight hard, you may still have a chance of survival. I see, let's do it with them. These foods belong to us, why should we give them to them? They're going to die themselves. That's right, I don't have the ability to get food, so I just want to steal it from others. Is it immoral? The most disgusting thing in my life, Luan Qiang, is this kind of person, bah. Zhang Yi saw that his emotions were almost pulled, so he said, well, we can't let them look down on us. We must let them know how good we are. Tonight, Li Chengbin and Zhang Lei, you lead people into 26. There are not many old gangsters left in the Cheyenne gang, kill them. One is to avenge our dead family members, and the other is to remind other units. Li Chengbin, okay, Brother Zhang. Zhang Lei, yes, Brother Zhang. Zhang Yi, as for me, I have been busy outside for a day today, and I am a little tired. I won't take you there. I will definitely next time. Li Chengbin, Brother Zhang, I understand you. You worked hard today. Zhang Lei, Brother Zhang has contributed the most. We can't let Brother Zhang do everything, everyone agrees. Neighbors, yes. Zhang Yi, good brothers, you go. After the CPU finished with the neighbor, Zhang Yi comfortably threw away the phone, and then hugged Zhou Qi'er. Zhou Qi'er laughed and let out a scream. An hour later, Zhang Yi was lying on the sofa with a cigarette in his mouth, and Zhou Qi'er was lying on his chest with a tired face, but there was a contented smile on the corner of his mouth. Ding dong. The WhatsApp message rang. Zhang Yi picked up the phone and found that it was Zhang Lei who sent it. Brother Zhang, those veterans of the Cheyenne gang are a bit difficult to deal with. The corner of Zhang Yi's mouth raised. Nonsense, of course hard work. If it was easy, I would have rushed in with a gun and shot them all. The members of the Cheyenne gang are all working on the construction site. They have a lot of hands, great strength, and strong endurance. Moreover, they have been dealing with buildings for a long time and know how to use terrain. Zhang Lei and the others attacked in the past, and if the Cheyenne gang was prepared, they would definitely suffer heavy losses. But they were all cannon fodder anyway, and Zhang Yi didn't feel bad when they died, and he even wanted to laugh. After all, most of these bastard neighbors have shared his cup of meat soup. Zhang Yi pretended to be worried and asked, "How about our casualties?" Zhang Lei said, 8 of us died, but only 3 of them were killed. Zhang Yi was very satisfied with the result. There were only a few people left in the Cheyenne gang, and they were all ruthless characters who could fight. 3 of them were killed, and Wang Xianfang was almost left alone. Chapter 99 Ambush. Zhang Yi asked with concern, "Are you okay?" Zhang Lei didn't expect that Zhang Yi would specifically ask him about his situation, so he quickly said, "Just wipe it off, it's fine." Zhang Yi immediately said in a sad and indignant tone, "These gangsters of the Cheyenne gang have almost hurt one of my generals. Zhang Lei, you won't be on duty tomorrow, take a rest first." Afterwards, he said in the large group, "Everyone performed very well tonight, and tomorrow will be rewarded for meritorious service. Anyone who participated in the attack on the Cheyenne gang will be rewarded with food for at least 2 people. Zhang Lei was injured bravely, and everyone should learn from it, so let him rest for a day tomorrow. In addition, he will be rewarded with a huge portion of braised pork rice." Hearing Zhang Yi's encouraging words, the neighbors were very excited. Although 8 neighbors died, is it still a problem to die now? They are already numb. Most importantly, they have double guaranteed food tomorrow. The most enviable thing is Zhang Lei, who can eat stewed pork rice at this time. Even if they have the ingredients now, they don't have that many seasonings for cooking, and they are even more reluctant to start a fire. "I eat whatever I have every day, and I almost forget what a braised pork rice tastes like. Zhang Yi is mighty. Ha ho. Sure enough, I still have to hang out with Zhang Yi, there's meat to eat. Damn it, I didn't get the head this time, the braised pork rice next time must be mine." Many people secretly made up their minds to fight harder. The next morning, Zhang Yi put on the equipment covering his whole body, and then left the house with peace of mind. He planned to go to some famous large shopping malls and hotels nearby to see if there were any useful things. Climbing out from the window on the 4th floor, the snow in front of him has sunken in a large area, and it is all mottled with blood. It was only then that Zhang Yi realized that there had been a lot of fighting on their side recently. Zhang Yi just sighed a little, and then pulled himself together to take out the snowmobile secretly, and then drove towards the outside of the community. After the sound of the motorcycle sounded, the familiar feeling reappeared. The feeling of being watched. Although Zhang Yi couldn't see clearly the people behind the windows, he knew that many people were looking at him. Zhang Yi raised his head, his eyes coldly swept one tall building after another. These people, in the near future, may become his enemies, and then die at his hands. Zhang Yi's gaze shifted from far to near, and slowly retracted. But when passing by a building, he suddenly felt something was wrong. 21. On the wall, the red 21 is very eye-catching. It was under its reminder that Zhang Yi felt that strong sense of disobedience. 21. Crazy Wolfgang. Zhang Yi frowned slightly, and after a little thought, his eyes immediately became sharp. How can I say something is wrong? 21, where the Mad Wolfgang is located, is not far from their building. But so far, even though they knew that Zhang Yi had a lot of supplies in a snowmobile, they still didn't do anything to Zhang Yi. In the past, Zhang Yi thought that they were cautious and afraid of him. But thinking about it now, it's still too weird. No matter how careful they are a group of passionate young people in their 20s. It is impossible to remain indifferent to something as seductive as a snowmobile. The weirdest thing is that the landlords of other nearby buildings have talked to Zhang Yi about cooperation. Only members of the Crazy Wolf Gang never contacted Zhang Yi from the beginning to the end. This is abnormal, extremely abnormal. In Zhang Yi's understanding, there is only one explanation for this behavior, that is, dogs that cannot bark are the most ruthless, and they plan to attack quietly. Zhang Yi touched the pistol in his pocket, and thought of those big guns loaded with bullets and loaded in the different space, and he felt more at ease. He took out his mobile phone from his pocket, and quickly sent a message to Uncle Yu and Zhou, telling them to lock the door at home and be careful of sneak attacks from residents of other units. Then stuff the phone into your pocket to prevent it from freezing. Zhang Yi started the snowmobile and drove towards the front. When the car came to the edge of the community, a sudden change occurred. On the ground in front, snowflakes suddenly splashed. Then a door panel stood upright, blocking the front of Zhang Yi's car. Zhang Yi's car didn't have time to stop, so he turned around quickly. Boom. The motorcycle hit the door panel sideways, and 2 people were also thrown out in the snow. It turned out that 2 people hid in the snow, tied the door with ropes, and used it as a trap to keep horses away. It's a pity that this kind of door panel is too thin. Instead of tripping Zhang Yi, he was thrown flying out. Facts have proved that the things in the TV series cannot be learned randomly. Zhang Yi immediately realized that he was ambushed. Before he had time to think, 7 or 8 people had already got up from the snow, took out their weapons without saying a word, and rushed towards Zhang Yi with a roar. Zhang Yi took a deep breath. The cold air calmed him down. Then he quickly took out a gun from his pocket, and when he opened the safety, 8 people had already rushed to him. Zhang Yi raised his gun and shot. Bang! 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 If an ordinary person is approached like this, even if they have a gun in their hands, they will suffer. But Zhang Yi has the ability to shoot accurately, and his control over space is extremely strong, and the bullets in his hand will not miss. With 3 bullets, the 3 people in front of him were killed, and the guns were headshots. Before he could catch his breath, several people on the other side came to a position only 1 meter away from him, holding up their machetes. The machete was raised high, and it slashed down on Zhang Yi. At the critical moment, Zhang Yi turned his gun. Before his knife fell, Zhang Yi's gun was aimed at his head and almost stuffed into his mouth. The person's body froze instantly, just about to say something. Bang! A shot left a hole in his head. Such a scene frightened the other people who were charging and froze in place. They had never seen such a ruthless person with a gun, 1 shot at a time, killing the 4 of them in an instant. Could it be that he is half human, half ghost, Yan Shuangying, the #1 sharpshooter? Zhang Yi didn't give them a chance to be dazed, so he raised his gun and shot, killing 2 more people with 2 more shots. Until this time, the remaining 4 were frightened and ran back in a hurry. Zhang Yi pointed his gun at their backs, and seeing them running desperately forward in the snow, he suddenly changed his mind. He put the gun in his mouth, then started his motorcycle and followed. A few people couldn't run fast in the snow at all. They were crawling rather than running. At this time, the sound of motorcycles rang in their ears, and all of them lost their souls, and they were so scared that they peed in their pants. Zhang Yi caught up with the last person, and the motorcycle hit him directly. Half of his body was on the snow. Zhang Yi's motorcycle knocked his upper body to the ground, and then began to crush him mercilessly. What does it feel like to be crushed by more than 400 kilograms with a person in a car? The man screamed like a pig, his spine was broken, and the motorcycle ran over his back, then his head. When the people in front heard the scream, their faces became paler, and they gritted their teeth and ran forward desperately, as if there was an evil spirit chasing after them. Chapter 100 Kill It. After Zhang Yi's motorcycle passed the man, he looked back. Although there was snow under his body, the weight of more than 400 kilograms on his body also made him vomit blood. Zhang Yi shot him backhand, ending his suffering. Then continued to chase forward slowly. He wondered where these people came from. If you want to harm him, you have to pay for it. And the direction in which the few people fled is very similar to 21, the territory of the Wild Wolf Gang. At this time, on the 7th floor of 21, Wang Qiang and Xiaolu, the leader of the Wild Wolf Gang, and Xiaolu, the deputy leader, looked at the scene in front of them, and their hearts were bleeding. For today's robbery, they prepared for many days, inquired about Zhang Yi's travel route and time, and sent 10 men to ambush him. At first I thought it was a foolproof strategy, but after thousands of calculations, I didn't count that Zhang Yi's marksmanship is so good. They didn't expect that Zhang Yi still had so many bullets in his hand. Not only did he fail to kill Zhang Yi right now, he took away his snowmobile. On the contrary, the soldiers were lost and the generals were lost, which made Zhang Yi kill him. Now, it's going to be a big trouble. Wang Qiang said, "Let everyone gather at the door, arrange traps, and be careful of the gun in his hand." Xiaolu nodded, Don't worry, our corridor is fully furnished. If he dares to come in, it doesn't matter if he is killed here. The result is the same anyway. The two of them spoke very harshly, but they retreated in unison under their feet, not daring to peer in front of the window. They knew that Zhang Yi had a gun in his hand, and he also had a sniper rifle. Taking the lead is tantamount to courting death. 21. The members of the Crazy Wolf Gang hid in the corridor as if they were facing an enemy, praying in their hearts that Zhang Yi would not come in. Outside, Zhang Yi was still unhurriedly chasing and killing the remaining cubs of the Wild Wolf Gang. Along the way, he just killed a person with a single shot. The last person ran to the front of 21. But before he reached the entrance, the roar of Zhang Yi's motorcycle rang in his ears. Zhang Yi glanced at the dark room in front of him. He knew that the members of the Crazy Wolf Gang must be ambushing at this moment. Zhang Yi didn't use a gun, but took out the Damascus steel hunting knife he bought earlier. This thing is used to cut wild animals. It is extremely sharp, but Zhang Yi has never used it to cut people. PFFT. The hunting knife slid across the man's neck, and it felt surprisingly smooth. The sound of blood splashing was like the sound of wind. A head flew high and then fell to the ground. 21. The members of the Wolf Gang who were hiding in the dark all felt chills down their backs when they saw this scene. The 10 brothers they sent out were all killed by Zhang Yi. Zhang Yi stopped the snowmobile, got out of the car, picked up the head on the ground, and threw it into the room on the 4th floor. The human head rolled down on the ground several times before stopping, and the eyes looked blankly at the people inside. There was complete silence inside, and the tense hands and feet of the members of the dire Wolf Gang felt cold. They knew that once Zhang Yi came in with a gun, it would definitely be a fierce battle. Many of them will die. Zhang Yi stood outside 21 and didn't go in. He didn't know exactly what was inside, but there must be traps and ambushes. A gentleman does not stand under a dangerous wall. He will not let himself be in a dangerous place. But just letting the members of the Wild Wolf Gang go like this, he felt that he was too tolerant of these people. Just at this time, the gunshots alarmed everyone in the community, including the people in 25. At this time, Uncle Yu and Li Bin were on duty, and they all came to support Zhang Yi with weapons. Zhang Yi, what's going on? How did you fight them? Uncle Yu asked angrily. Zhang Yi glanced at them, and said lightly, they ambushed me outside, and I killed them all. From the outside of the community to 21, there were 10 corpses lying on the road, dripping with blood, which was very glaring. Uncle Yu shouted angrily, this group of damned things are so sinister. He said to the people behind, if something happens to Zhang Yi, our food will run out, and everyone will have no way to survive. A group of people were shocked when they heard the words, realizing the seriousness of this matter. Zhang Yi waved at them, go back first, call someone. Call everyone over. A group of people immediately returned to 25, and then called all the owners over. Zhang Yi's expression was very stern. He was in a bad mood right now, quite bad. He is not afraid of being attacked, because in the last days, such things are unavoidable. And he was fully prepared, with equipment all over his body, and an assault rifle in the space. Waiting for 1 or 20 people really can't do anything to him. But he was angry because he knew that someone from the owner of the 25th floor must have tipped off the Wild Wolf Gang. The reason is also well explained. For safety reasons, Zhang Yi does not have a fixed time to go out every day, but he does not want others to use this to deal with him. Ambush in advance, it is even more impossible. At this temperature, you have to bury yourself in the snow. No matter how thick your clothes are, it can't last more than half an hour. But today, those people just ambushed him in the snow. There are no such coincidences in this world, so it means that someone inside must have known that he was going out, and then told the people of the Wild Wolf Gang. Zhang Yi was not angry at being betrayed, because he knew that these neighbors were not good birds. As long as the interests were sufficient, there was no need to consider betrayal. He just simply wanted to kill the person who leaked the information. But in the whole building, almost everyone could have done this kind of thing, and he didn't know who did it. If this is the case, then treat them equally. The Mad Wolf Gang at 21 is strictly on guard. If they attack by force, there will be countless casualties. Zhang Yi simply let them bite the dog. He doesn't feel sorry for whoever dies anyway. Zhang Yi's icy eyes swept over everyone. Everyone saw Zhang Yi like this. Their expressions were full of fear. But they also knew that the feeling of being ambushed would not be pleasant. After a while, Zhang Yi said calmly, people from 21 shot at me. I'm dead, and you can't survive. So they want to kill me, just want to kill you. For this kind of people, we must kill them all. Uncle Yu, go out with me this time. The rest of the team will be led by Li Changbin and officially launch an attack on 21. Kill one person, I will reward 10 people with food. When everyone heard Zhang Yi's reward, they couldn't help being moved. Many people were still upset because they didn't have the chance to make meritorious service last night. However, some people raised objections. It's not good to pass now, right? They must be guarding against us for revenge. Even if we want to pass, it's better to wait until night. Zhang Yi took a look. It was an uncle from the Mediterranean named Guo Daohe. He pointed to Uncle Yu and said, and Uncle Yu is our main force. If we attack by force, it's best for him to stay. When the big guys heard Guo Daohe's words, they also felt that it made sense, and couldn't help muttering in low voices. Yet, even if it's for revenge, it's better to sneak attack at night. Is Zhang Yi angry now? Be calm. Uncle Yu is strong in combat, so he should be the main force. End of this chapter. Thank you so much for reading until the end. Don't forget to give it a like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription or donation encourages us to continue. Thank you all. See you in the next video.